by the police in the January to April period. Caretaker for Central Kingston, Steve McGregor, has sought to dismiss claims that the People's National Party is not in support of the police. The JLP's Young Jamaica fires back at the PNP's Nikisha Burchell by declaring that she is promoting misleading information about press freedom in Jamaica. On the international scene, Australia Prime Minister Albanese makes stunning comeback with landslide win, while in sport, 5 Jamaican athletes produced podium finishes on the second stop on the Wonder Diamond League circuit in Shanghai, China on Saturday. The details after this.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
The number of people killed by the security forces in the January to April period this year is 111. That's according to the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM. The figure is 67 more than the 44 individuals killed up to April 20 last year. It represents a 152% increase in police fatal shootings when compared to the similar period last year. So far, 28 have been reported in April alone. That's more than double the number recorded in April 2024 with 9. Concerns have been growing over the use of deadly force by members of the JCF. On Tuesday, Jamaicans for Justice JFJ staged a protest calling for accountability of the JCF on the troubling increase in police killings. But in a video address on Friday, Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake says the police force remains undeterred in its fight against crime.
These criminals act with shocking boldness, often recording and sharing their crimes on social media, displaying a chilling disregard for life and law. So should it surprise anyone that these same criminals who murder at will turn their weapons on members of the security forces? Let me reassure you, we are undeterred. We will not retreat. We will not yield. The safety and security of the Jamaican people remain our mission, our duty, and our commitment. Thank you for your continued support. Together, we will build the safe, secure, and just Jamaica that we all deserve.
Dr. Kevin Blake, Police Commissioner. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness also sought to assure that his administration will ensure the security forces remain accountable in their crime-fighting approach. The police have formally charged a man for the April 2022 triple murder on Morgan's Lane in Kingston. Charged is 33-year-old Orlando Grant, otherwise known as Rufus, of Grants Pen Road and Vermont Avenue in Havendale, St. Andrew. Robian Williams reports.
Orlando Grant is facing 3 counts of murder along with charges of possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. According to police reports, around 5:54 p.m. on Friday, April 1, 2022, a group of people was gathered at Morgan's Lane. Armed men traveling in motor vehicle reportedly stopped, exited, and opened fire on the crowd. Several individuals were hit in the barrage of gunfire. The attackers then fled the scene in the vehicle. Police responded and found multiple persons suffering from gunshot wounds. The victims were rushed to hospital, where 3 were pronounced dead. The deceased have been identified as 42-year-old Joseph Smith, otherwise called Joe, and 44-year-old Bamsha Miller, both of Morgan's Lane, as well as 39-year-old Kevin Eddy, otherwise known as Bummer, of Seaview Gardens in Kingston. Grant was apprehended during a targeted police operation on Monday, April 21, 2025. He was subsequently charged on Tuesday, April 29, following a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. A court date is being finalized. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
Caretaker for Central Kingston, Steve McGregor, has sought to dismiss claims that the People's National Party is not in support of the police. He was speaking at the Almond Town Divisional Conference earlier this week.
In a very disingenuous way, the Jamaica Labour Party has sought to politicize an issue and trying to spread the rumor that the PNP does not support the police. I want you to listen to me carefully. Dressing up in blue suit and blue frock no means say you support police. No, I have been a police officer for over 41 years. And since I have announced myself as the MP candidate for Central Kingston, every police officer that I've run into, they will say to me, Mr. McGregor will find somebody that can represent for the police in Parliament. Yes, I didn't say it. I did not say it openly. But because of what they are doing now, I have to do this.
On Tuesday, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang wore blue in support of the men and women of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It came amid a planned End Police Violence protest organized by Jamaicans for Justice JFJ. The group urged persons participating in the protest to wear black. One of the things the group has long advocated for is the wearing of body-worn cameras by police personnel. Mr. McGregor says the PNP supports the use of body-worn cameras to bring about accountability.
Don't let them try to fool you to think that the PNP is not for the police. We're for the police. But listen, we're for transparency. We're for professionalism. We're for accountability. So we will support the body-worn cameras. Yes, because we want accountability. We'll also volley for other less lethal weapons to be used in your effort. We'll also put things in place so that you're properly trained to manage critical incidents. Because I'm seeing too much incidents on the road where it seems as if the police don't have control over it.
Steve McGregor, caretaker for Central Kingston. Meanwhile, Opposition Senator Peter Bunting has declared that the PNP will reclaim their seats in both Central Kingston and Manchester.
There's something in common between Central Kingston and South Manchester. Both constituencies are accustomed to PNP MPs. So both constituencies are in a very uncomfortable position right now. But I can tell you in South Manchester, we are very confident that we will be returning that constituency to the fold of the People's National Party. And I want you to tell me whether you are confident that Central Kingston will believe in Steve and return Central Kingston to the fold of the People's National Party.
Peter Bunting, Opposition Senator, he was also speaking at the PNP's divisional conference in Almond Town earlier this week. In Central Kingston, the PNP standard bearer Steve McGregor will go up against the JLP standard bearer Donovan Williams, and in South Manchester, Senator Peter Bunting is set to go up against the JLP's prospective candidate Ian Ives. Nationwide News understands that a team of persons is now carrying out planned deep cleaning activities at a section of the Kingston Public Hospital KPH. As part of the exercise, there may be scent or strange odor in the surrounding environs. We understand that the situation is being dealt with to minimize discomfort. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness is asserting that the government of Jamaica reaffirms its steadfast commitment to safeguarding freedom of the press, ensuring open access to information, and fostering a media landscape where journalism can thrive in the digital age. The Prime Minister's comments, which were posted on Instagram, come against the backdrop of Jamaica's second ranking in the Caribbean, according to the 2025 World Press Freedom Index published by Reporters Without Borders. Dr. Holness says while global rankings reflect a contraction in press freedom, Jamaica continues to hold its ground as one of the leading nations in the Caribbean in upholding media freedoms. It was noted by the Prime Minister that between 2022 and the first quarter of 2025, Jamaica consistently ranked among the top performers in the region, outpacing several counterparts despite fluctuations in the global media environment. The opposition People's National Party, PNP, is raising concerns following Jamaica's decline on the 2025 World Press Freedom Index. The country now ranks 26th out of 180 countries after slipping 2 places on the latest list. The PNP says Jamaica has slipped a total of 16 places on the press freedom rankings since 2020. The PNP says this slip reflects what they're describing as the growing gulf of mistrust between government officials and the press. The opposition party is accusing the government of taking an increasingly autocratic posture. Opposition spokesperson on information and public communication Nikisha Burchell says Jamaica's slip in the press freedom ranking is not a coincidence. She says the government has deliberately attempted to undermine press freedom and control the national narrative. The PNP also accused the government of using public funds to finance politically charged advertising disguised as government information. We're not opposed to media houses earning, they have every right to, but when taxpayer dollars are used to produce promotional content that seeks to elevate the Prime Minister and political actors under the guise of public updates, we must ask if the line between governance and campaign propaganda has been crossed, Burchell said. Burchell urged the media to maintain its integrity amid what she calls digital disruptions and a changing economy. though Ms. Burchell is commending those in the media who she says have remained steadfast. As Jamaica observes World Press Freedom Day on May 3, the PNP is calling for stronger protections for journalists, transparency in public communication spending, and a national recommitment to press freedom. And Young Jamaica, the youth arm of the Jamaica Labour Party JLP, says the PNP is spreading misleading information about Jamaica's press freedom. The declaration follows the latest publication from the global organization Reporters Without Borders, which indicates that Jamaica has fallen 2 places on the World Press Freedom Index. Young Jamaica notes with concern that in recent years there have been a slew of incidents where the PNP leadership and its supporters have taken an aggressive and inappropriate stance concerning the media. According to Young Jamaica, these unsavory incidents include a PNP Deputy General Secretary aggressively insisting that a reporter who was wearing an item of green clothing abandon her duties and leave the compound of the PNP headquarters, a PNP supporter being recently caught on tape threatening a female journalist with rape while in the presence of PNP officials, a shooting incident at a media entity which came following disparaging and aggressive remarks made by the PNP General Secretary about the same media entity, PNP President Mark Golding's recent attack on the media, and inappropriate remarks where he accused the media of being biased and bought. Young Jamaica says it notes that the series of unfortunate incidents involving the PNP and the media had caused Government Senator Abka Fitz-Henley to last year publicly urge the PNP to change course and discontinue its attacks on the media. Young Jamaica is calling on the PNP spokesman on information, Nikisha Burchell, to desist from legitimizing the spreading of false narratives concerning a number of issues, including Jamaica's ranking on the World Press Freedom Index. It says Burchell's comments in a media release issued by the PNP on May 3, 2025, which suggested that the government is autocratic, cannot be excused by her obvious political inexperience and ignorance of the word's definition, and that her remarks demonstrate an intent to mislead the Jamaican people. Young Jamaica went on to state that it would be best if Burchell and the PNP commit to taking action to ensure that the PNP reduces its aggressive and unbecoming posture towards the media and contribute towards the restoration of Jamaica's traditionally eminent placement on the World Press Freedom Index. To news now on the international scene, Labour's Anthony Albanese has defied the so-called incumbency curse to be re-elected Australia's Prime Minister in a landslide. Official vote counting won't finish for days, but Albanese's centre-left government will dramatically increase its majority after the Conservative Liberal National Coalition suffered a thumping nationwide defeat. Today, the Australian people have voted for Australian values, for fairness, aspiration and opportunity for all, for the strength to show courage in adversity and kindness to those in need, Albanese said. Coalition leader Peter Dutton, who lost his own seat of 24 years, said he accepted full responsibility for his party's loss and apologized to his MPs. Let's now turn to sport. 5 Jamaican athletes produced podium finishes on the second stop on the Wanda Diamond League circuit in Shanghai, China on Saturday. MVP's Kishane Thompson opened his season with a season's best 9.99 seconds for second in the men's 100 meters final. Thompson says today's performance was an external part of his season's preparation.
I'd say it's a decent race. I'm working off some cobwebs. Today it wasn't really about a fast time. It was more of getting a better execution, putting it all together. You know, it's my season opener. We have a lot of stuff to work on. We're just gonna move forward from here.
Kishane Thompson. World champion Danielle Williams posted 12.55 seconds to finish second in the women's 100 meters hurdles. America's Grace Stark won in a world lead and meet record 12.42 seconds. Rashid Broadbell ran a season's best 13.24 seconds to finish second in the 110 meters hurdles. And Hansel Parchment finished 6th and Orlando Bennett 8th. Jordan Scott was second in the men's triple jump with 70 meters, and Wayne Pinnock picked up third in the men's long jump with a leap of 8.10 meters, while Tajay Gale finished 5th. Cordell Tinch of the US won in a meet record and world lead 12.87 seconds. And now for a recap of the top stories making the news at this hour. Indicom says 111 persons were killed by the police in the January to April period. Caretaker of Central Kingston, Steve McGregor, has sought to dismiss claims that the People's National Party is not in support of the police. The GLP's Young Jamaica fires back at the PNP's Nikisha Burchell by declaring that she is promoting misleading information about press freedom in Jamaica. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. News is next at 5 tomorrow afternoon. But stay tuned because coming up next we have Sports Station Live with Wayne Walker and Alric Swaby.
Who shops at Creative Building Finishes? You, the homeowner who creates luxurious spaces with our floor and wall tiles. The contractor and builder who are convinced that our ceramic tiles are right for the job. The architect and designer who make dreams come true with our wood look and porcelain tiles. Superior customer service, knowledgeable staff, inviting showroom, and you get where this is going, right? Shop 5 Red Hills Road or call 876-929-5553. Get tiles, get Creative Building Finishes.
A mother's journey of love shared from generation to generation. Give her the ultimate relaxation and escape to Adam and Eve Day Spa and Salon for a mommy-made new experience this Mother's Day, Sunday, May 11. Book now at www.adamandeve.dayspaja.com. Purchase gift certificates or call 876-754-6017. Get mom the perfect gift of love. This Mother's Day, let Team Adam and Eve take her on a spa journey. She deserves it.
Every day, we use our feet to walk, run, and take us to amazing places. But your feet can do something even more amazing. A simple step can change a life. Join Guardian Group's Shine 5K Night Run, formerly the Keep It Alive 5K, and make us try to support the Noel Holmes Hospital, the Bustamante Hospital for Children, and Project Star. Saturday, May 10 in Kingston and Saturday, May 24 in Montego Bay. New name, but same epic vibe. Register today at run2shineja.com or runningeventsja.com and see you at Shine 2025.
Married life is a serious thing. Careful how you put on the wedding ring.
For better or worse, in sickness or health, richer or poorer. But who generally wins in this equation? Or when the maths now add up? So many men avoid marriage, or those within complain of the constant worry that they can lose everything in the end. How reasonable are these thoughts though? Is it fair to use history and judge the likely outcome? If Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates can lose a lot, what about the average Joe? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, is marriage just a legal contract that benefits women and children? What happened to the man them?
Husband and wife, pain and problem in them life. It's in them life, in them life.
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed. The Ministry of Health and Wellness. Healthy people, healthy environment. Dewars. Here's to the story. And Durex. Distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. On the next episode, we go behind the produce stand. Safe, fresh produce vending in Jamaica.
Get ready for a fun-filled day of storytelling and imagination as Cliff Hughes Online and the E-Zone celebrates Read Across Jamaica Day with a special live outside broadcast from Seawood Primary and Infant School. Join us on Tuesday, May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we bring the joy of reading to life with exciting book readings and engaging conversations. Expect exciting prizes and surprises. So, tune in to ClipViews Online and the E-Zone on May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's Read Across Jamaica Day at Seawood Primary and Infant School. Catch the live stream on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Chris and Charles, Pressbox Printers, Guardian Group's Shine 5K, Cozy Corner Books and more, eLearning Jamaica, and Kingston Bookshop.
Okay, good afternoon. It's Saturday, May 3, 2025. Now, if you bowl it, we'll hit it for 6. If you pass it, we'll score it. Give us a pool, we'll dive in. And as fast as the starter's gun fires, we're at that finish line. I'm Alex Ribble. This is Sports Nation Live on Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiogm.com, and Flow Channel 916. You can also tune into our program live on our YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM. And remember to like, subscribe, and share our content. Now, coming up, we have another pack, an exciting show for lineup for you. We'll be talking football, swimming, and much more. But first, an athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24.
1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize. Did you notice when reading this verse that it doesn't say you must win or you will win? It is actually telling us that the kind of effort and dedication victory requires. Competing with integrity is the key here. Anyone can cheat and win, but what does that do us morally? It's not about winning at all costs or abandoning your values to do anything it takes to win. This is telling us we need to perform at our absolute best and have the self-discipline to compete in a focused, well-practiced, and strategic manner. If we do that, we will perform in such a way that will be nearly impossible to beat. Will we get beat sometimes? Absolutely. However, in performing with honor, we can feel victorious even in a loss.
Okay, so that was our athletics lesson from 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Now, our feature, you just had to be there. We replay the women's 100 meters final at the Rio Olympics.
Williams, Tarlew, Thompson, Bowie, Fraser-Price, Gardner, i.e. Skiffers. Years of work, a lifetime of dreaming, and all for an 11-second route to glory. This is the women's 100-meter Olympic final. And who's got the best start? It's pretty even, but Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price trying to come away, but Elaine Thompson on the far side. And it's Thompson who's going to become the Olympic champion. She's beaten the Queen, and she's done it in style. 10.72, and what a way to win your maiden global crown. She was up against one of the greats. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price got out of the blocks well, but come the moment, it was Elaine Thompson who delivered the performance of a lifetime. She follows Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price as the Olympic champion, and she is a worthy winner.
What a moment for Jamaica, and I think the enormity of the moment has just hit the gold medalist. Skippers found herself back in 5th placing. Fraser-Price got off to a good start, but she just couldn't clear the rest of the field. And after travelling 20 metres, Thompson got that high speed going, and now she goes to her fellow countrywoman and says, well done, you've got a medal, I've got the one that you're after. But it's a great night for Jamaica. 10.71 for Thompson. Bowie has been able to spear through in the middle and get the silver medal at the last gasp at 10.83. and it's a season's best for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price. That's all you can ask. She's run quicker than she has done at any stage this year, but on the night, she's found someone too good, and luckily for her, it's someone who comes from the same great sprinting nation.
And now the tears are beginning to flow for Elaine Thompson. There are the three medalists, but it's Thompson who looks utterly shell-shocked. She can't believe what she's achieved, but she should watch this back. She's third from the right-hand side. She didn't get the quickest start. Fraser-Price was up, and then Thompson got into her stride, and she's won this by quite some margin as well. A brilliant performance. Schiffers was trying to close in on the medals at the end, but she hasn't quite been on the money in terms of her start so far, and she'll be really fired up to make amends for that come the 200. But this was Elaine Thompson's day, and what a way to become the Olympic champion. That is a huge margin under the most enormous pressure.
And she will think back on a day where she had a discussion with her coach, Stephen Francis, who told her the truth. He told her that she hadn't performed very well and laid her on the line to her, and she said it was a speech that changed her life.
And I think she should be rightly proud of that performance, bearing in mind the season she's had. And there, she showed the graciousness of a great champion. There wasn't any reluctance in that hug, and sharing in the celebration of her younger compatriot, to whom arguably she has now handed the mantle.
And there'll be a lot of people hoping that there hasn't been an omen set with what Tababa did and with what Shelly-Ann Price did for what might happen with another Jamaican. And there is the result of the final. Elaine Thompson, 0.12. That's a big margin. That is simply brilliant.
Elaine Thompson, the Olympic champion. Silver for Bowie.
Okay, that was our feature. You just had to be there, where we played the women's 100 meters final from the Rio Olympics. With that, we take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
At Kia, driving your future means joining the movement that inspires. Whether it's the small but mighty Picanto hatchback or the top-of-the-line tech-rich Sorrento SUV, there's a Kia that perfectly fits your lifestyle and your budget. ATL Automotive has gotten Jamaicans behind the wheels of thousands of Kias for the past 7 years. And we're ready to get you behind the wheel of a Kia too. Simply visit the nearest Kia showroom for a test drive now.
Every day, we use our feet to walk, run, and take us to amazing places. But your feet can do something even more amazing. A simple step can change a life. Join Guardian Group's Shine 5K Night Run, formerly the Keep It Alive 5K, and make us try to support the Noel Holmes Hospital, the Bustamante Hospital for Children, and Project Star. Saturday, May 10 in Kingston and Saturday, May 24 in Montego Bay. New name, but same epic vibe. Register today at run2shineja.com or runningeventsja.com and see you at Shine 2025.
A mother's journey of love shared from generation to generation. Give her the ultimate relaxation and escape to Adam and Eve Day Spa and Salon for a mommy-made new experience this Mother's Day, Sunday, May 11. Book now at www.adamandeve.dayspaja.com. Purchase gift certificates or call 876-754-6017. Get mom the perfect gift of love. This Mother's Day, let Team Adam and Eve take her on a spa journey. She deserves it.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alric Swaby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator. We'll be talking football now, as 480 boys and girls from 60 primary and preparatory schools across the island is set to compete in the Scotiabank Kiddies Football Championships. The tournament will kick off at Manchester High on Saturday and feature on the 11 players in a mixed five-a-side format. President of the Jamaica Football Federation, Michael Ricketts, says he's excited about what will unfold from the tournament.
I'm just very, very excited at the prospects of what will unfold after today's launch. When Andrew approached me about this morning's event, I just thought I had to be here. I mean, I was in Kingston up to very late last night, and I called him And I said I might not be able to make it. And he was so insistent, and I decided that the truth is, Scotiabank is so important. I had just asked him, what about kiddies cricket? I had just asked him, because we would want Wayne to have kiddies football, now that there's no kiddies cricket. But football, as it is now, this year rather, is going to be a very, very busy year for football programs. In fact, at the end of this month, we will participate in what is called the Unity Cup in England. Then the real McCoy starts afterwards when the World Cup qualifiers continue. So on June 7, we play the British Virgin Islands in BVI. Then we come back, and 3 days after, we have a contest with Guatemala. So as it is now, we are just super excited at, like I say, what will unfold, both from a national perspective and from what Scotiabank will do with, I'm going to call it kiddies football. I am very, very aware, probably more than anybody else in this room, how important this particular exercise is. Some years ago, I had some discussions with government, and they did a similar competition as a pilot project in Clarendon and St. Catherine. My personal interpretation of grassroots football is exactly what we are doing today. And we had a competition in Clarendon, and it was divided into 2 groups, under 8 and between 12 and 8. And I remember the finals of the under 8. The 2 schools that actually participated in that final were nestled in densely populated communities. And at that final, you would want to think that it was a Premier League game, because every single parent, every cousin, every aunt, every neighbor was at that finals. And I remember very clearly that this little boy picked up a ball, turned around, kicked it in his own goal, and celebrated, probably still celebrating. And his father, try as his father, he could not get him to understand that he did something that was wrong. But the whole idea is to get the passion out of the kids, get them to fall in love with the sport, and then we can take the competitive nature afterwards. The JFF has just, in collaboration with Ray and Neville and government, established a coaching program, because we want to ensure that coaches at this level are so qualified that the kids get started on the right footing. Because if they don't, if they don't, eventually they will have to be uncoached and recoached. Then it could very well be too late. So what we are doing now, certainly, is something that is in the thoughts, in the minds of every single director at the JFF. We are just intent on getting kids started at the right age and at the right time. Hence, when they grow up, they would have already been coached by qualified coaches. So we are in the process, and I would think that we would have done maybe half of 500 coaches that are being trained at the D-license level. And government, Ray Neville, and the JFF have partnered and are, as it is now, having sessions to have all coaches that will coach at age 12 and under at least have a D license. And this just underscores the level of importance that we will place in this kind of an initiative. Thank you so much, Scotiabank. Thank you, Andrew Edwards. Thank you, Wayne Shaw. This is something that will eventually impact the very social well-being of every single boy and girl that will participate in this tournament. Thank you so much, and I'm going to make myself available, sir, to be at least at some of your games on the 2 designated weekends, just to show the world that I have a deep interest in this kind of initiative. Thank you so much, and may God bless.
Now, Vice President of Public Affairs at Scotia Group Jamaica, Yannick Forbes-Patrick, says this is an exciting new chapter in the financial institution's ongoing commitment to youth development through sports.
Truly a pleasure to welcome you to the official launch of the Scotiabank Kids Football Championships, an exciting new chapter in our ongoing commitment to youth development through sport. This weekend, we kick off a nationwide under-11 mixed 5-a-side football tournament that will bring together 480 boys and girls from primary and preparatory schools across Jamaica. Over the next 4 weekends, these young athletes will compete with passion and pride, culminating in the crowning of our first ever All-Island champion on May 25. This is a historic moment for Scotiabank. As Debbie mentioned, this marks the first time that the Scotiabank Kids Football Championship is being held in the English-speaking Caribbean, and of course it had to be Jamaica first. So having started in 2014, this competition has a rich history of positively impacting the lives of young people across Latin America, and we anticipate it having a very similar effect here in Jamaica. At Scotiabank, we believe sport is one of the most powerful tools in shaping young minds and building stronger communities. Football, in particular, teaches invaluable life skills such as teamwork, discipline, communication, respect, and very importantly, conflict resolution, which we know is needed in our society. And these skills extend far beyond football, well on into adulthood and last for a lifetime. This belief has guided our long-standing investment in youth sports across the region. Who remembers kiddie cricket? So we moved from kiddie cricket, and then we went to our Scotiabank CONCACAF Next Play, which is a very similar football competition. But Scotiabank has consistently used sports as a platform to empower young people and promote positive values. But this championship is more than just football. We're very proud to incorporate the League of Life Financial Literacy Workshop into our tournament experience. Through this very engaging, game-based program, all our participants will learn essential money management skills like saving, budgeting, what is an investment, and that will serve them well into adulthood. We are very passionate about financial education at Scotiabank. We believe it's important even at the primary level and well into adulthood, all throughout your life. So we're very thrilled to have the endorsement of the Jamaica Football Federation. I told Michael once he's here, it's official. Their support underscores the alignment of this initiative with our national youth development goals.
Now, tournament sporting director Andrew Edwards outlined the format of the competition.
Getting into the structure of the competition, allow me to give a little background, if you may. I serve in a dual capacity here this morning, not be known to many, but I'm also the chairman of the JFF Youth and Grassroots Committee, and that is the channel through which I ended up in the position of being the local organizing committee person for this tournament, for which I'm extremely excited. But before all of that, though, I worked with the JFF as a head coach for the under-17 team between 2014 and 2017. And during that time, Digicel had a football program that allowed some youngsters to go over to England. And my association there caused me to design a program or a competition format that was supposed to have been brought on stream. It never happened. The dream never died. And when this came about, I felt as though the time was right. Yeah, the dream came to boy. And for that, I want to salute Scotiabank through their efforts to continually support youth sports, and now football is having its turn here in Jamaica. We are extremely grateful. I want to say a few thank yous before getting into the meat of the matter. I already mentioned Scotiabank and their partner Innova Sports out of Peru. They are the ones who contracted my football academy, Genesis Football Academy, to spearhead this project. And we're a little bit disappointed that they were not represented here today, but they will be here come tomorrow afternoon. I have to say a special thanks, of course, to the JFF through President Michael Ricketts. He spoke about the phone call. It was no joke. I had to literally insist. He wanted a representative, and I said, Mr. President, that can't work. You know, so I really want to thank you, Mr. President, for acceding to my request, and your presence made a big difference. Thank you, sir. But also, I really want to thank the schools, the 60 schools who would have taken up this opportunity. It has been a very huge challenge, quite frankly, with the time of year. You know, the athletics championships coming on, there is PEP exams going on. We're just coming out of the Easter break, and it has been a real challenge for the schools, but we want to salute those schools that have taken up this opportunity. It's a beautiful opportunity, it's a great opportunity, and I just want to acknowledge these 3 schools who are represented here this morning: Pembroke Hall Primary, Macaulay Primary from Spanish Town, and St. Patrick's Primary. And finally, in the spirit of thank yous, I want to thank the parents and guardians who's giving their children this opportunity and trusting us to provide a safe and fun environment for the kids to express themselves and to grow and develop. All right? So now I get on to the meat of the matter. The Scotiabank U11 Championship has been in existence since 2016. 9 years, just as old as Genesis Football Academy. No, Genesis was founded in 2016. That's my academy. Oh, Scotiabank is 2014. Okay. And it's the first time it's coming to Jamaica, the first time to the English-speaking Caribbean. During the planning phase, the people from Innova Sports were dialoguing with us from the Dominican Republic, where they were actually executing a similar version. All right, they have executed in Peru, in Costa Rica, in Chile, and several of the other South American countries. And it's a big deal for me personally, and for us as Jamaicans, it should be a big deal that we are the first in the English-speaking Caribbean, the first in the English-speaking part of the Americas, if I might say so. The structure of the competition, as mentioned before, is 60 schools. Each school will register 8 students, 4 boys, 4 girls, all of them born 2014 or after, which means that they would be under 11. The schools were chosen from regions based on our geographic layout. So we have Middlesex, Cornwall, and Surrey. All right, so Surrey will have 24 schools participating. In Middlesex and Cornwall, there will be 18 schools each participating. We kickstart the tournament in Middlesex at Manchester High School this Saturday. Well, tomorrow Friday, first of all, with the League of Life games. All the schools will participate in that. I'll get back to that in a moment. And then we go with the football Saturday and Sunday. The following weekend, we move it over to Montego Bay at West Pow Park, where the Cornwall teams will come to the party. And then the following weekend, May 17 and 18, we are at UA, the Captain Horace Burrell Center of Excellence. Thanks again to President Mike Ricketts for making that happen. I think it will be a great experience for the kids to be able to play on those facilities and hopefully be inspired to become future reggae boys and reggae girls. And then the following weekend, we have the championships, the national championships, that is. So let me get to that part. Each region will have a champion, and you will see the plates displayed to the side for each regional champion. Those 3 champions will be joined by the overall fair play winner in the national championships. The national championships will have 4 teams participating, the 3 regional winners and the overall fair play winner. It's very important that we emphasize this fair play aspect of the tournament, which is unlike we have seen in most other youth tournaments, certainly here in Jamaica. Scotiabank and its partners are insisting on this, and we believe that it is a very good gesture. So the kids or the teams will earn points even before they kick a ball. So they will earn points from participating in the League of Life. They will earn points for sportsmanlike behavior or sportsmanship. They will earn points for the way they treat their environment in terms of, do they clean up the space when they finish playing? Do they clean up the space that they stayed throughout the day? And so on. Do they treat their teammates and others with respect? They will earn points based on the behavior of their coaches and delegates, as well as of the spectators that supports their team. And I think this is very good because as someone who organizes tournaments locally outside of this situation and who participates in a lot of tournaments, I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that this is a real sore point in how we treat the sport at this level. And I think President mentioned it. It is very important that we allow the kids to have fun. And sometimes as adults, we can be way too overbearing. And I think this aspect of it will put some restraint on those of us who needs to be restrained. The other thing that I'd like to say on this, just a little caveat to the side. Just recently in our coaches group, we were discussing some things about development of coaches, and I'm speaking specifically to our coaches here. Research is showing now that the players that actually make the best decisions in the games are those players who get the least instructions from their coaches, certainly in their formative years. So we're looking at a young Yamin Lamal, for example, playing for Barcelona and Spain at 17 years old, making extremely good decisions on the field more often than not. And as coaches, sometimes we, and I want to make sure you note the pronoun we do become too much for the kids. We don't allow them to make decisions for themselves. And so that's something that I am looking forward to seeing how we adapt in the tournament. Getting towards the end, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Jamaica Scotiabank Under 11 Children Championship 2025 will earn the right to compete in the Continental Scotiabank U11 Children Championship, hopefully to be staged in October 2025. Good news on that front is that Innova Sport has hinted to my team that they are looking at Jamaica to host that championships. And Montego Bay has already been earmarked as the place of choice that it would go if it does come to us. For my team, it's very important that we execute as best as we possibly can so that this opportunity definitely can come to Jamaica. I think it will be a huge boost for our sports tourism, and for our football in general. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, I want...
Okay, so that was tournament sporting director Andrew Edwards sharing with us the format of the competition. That's the KFC Prep and Primary School, not the KFC, but the Scotiabank Kids Football Championship for Prep and Primary Schools. We take a break and come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Get ready for a fun-filled day of storytelling and imagination as CliffViews Online and the E-Zone celebrates Read Across Jamaica Day with a special live outside broadcast from Seawood Primary and Infant School. Join us on Tuesday, May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we bring the joy of reading to life with exciting book readings and engaging conversations. Expect exciting prizes and surprises. So, tune in to CliffViews Online and the E-Zone on May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's Read Across Jamaica Day at Seawood Primary and Infant School. Catch the live stream on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Chris and Charles, Pressbox Printers, Guardian Group's Shine 5K, Cozy Corner Books and more, eLearning Jamaica, and Kingston Bookshop.
Get ready for a heartwarming and inspiring celebration as E-Zone honors the dedicated heroes of education on Teachers' Day with a special live outside broadcast from Lorna Auto Prep School. Join us on Wednesday, May 7 from 1 to 3 p.m. as we recognize and celebrate the teachers who shape minds, build futures, and inspire greatness every single day. So don't miss it. Celebrate Teachers' Day with the E-Zone and Lorna Auto Prep School on May 7 from 1 to 3 p.m. Catch the live stream on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Chris and Charles and JT Cooperative Credit Union.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Raby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We'll be talking a bit about a seminar coming up, being hosted by the Sports Development Foundation. Now, safeguarding in sports is a critical aspect of ensuring the safety, well-being, and rights of athletes at all levels. The Sports Development Foundation recognizes the growing need for comprehensive safeguarding measures in response to increasing awareness of abuse risk, legislative requirements, and the importance of fostering a safe sporting environment. To address these challenges, SDF is proud to propose a seminar dedicated to advancing safeguarding practices in sports on May 29. Now, joining us to shed some light on this seminar is Sports Administrator Alan Beckford. Alan, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good afternoon. Happy to be on the show this afternoon.
My pleasure having you. Let's jump right into it. This seminar, who are you targeting for this seminar?
Okay, so primary target is national associations and the other stakeholders in sports. Of course, when we target the national associations, it is hoped that they will spread it to their membership, which will pretty much get to all stakeholders in sports. So they are our primary stakeholders. One of the things is that, as you would know, all sporting associations should have a safeguarding policy.
Right.
Well, most of their international federations have, but at the same time, we should ensure that we not only have it there sitting in the international federation, but to actually be implementing it locally.
Right. And tell me why the decision to have this seminar, since what you just said, these national federations already have this written in their code of conduct?
So just to take one step back, we've been having a series, the Sports Development Foundation, of seminar sessions. We started back in October. We had one on Heritage Week where we had 4 stalwarts, one from football, one from netball, one from cricket, and one from athletics, two female and 2 male, and it was to do with Heritage Week to share the experiences of the 1960s sports with us. We then had another seminar which focused on sponsorship, and a little bit different. We got one of our big party promoters, that's Tete Garki from yesterday, to tell, it's all about event management, to speak to our national associations. We also had Miss Farr from Lucas Aid and Owen Hill from football, who understand sponsorship. And then we proceeded to have another one, which we had on social media, which we had a number of social media content makers, influencers, event organizers. So it's a series of educational sessions that we're having, and safeguarding is one of them that we had planned for 2025. So it's something that is extremely important. I recently was at the JADCO Symposium, and I asked associations to put up their hands to see which of the associations had a policy. We also did it at our last session, which had a really good turnout of national associations. And unfortunately, the number of associations who put up their hand was very, very few and far between. It was a hard time to count so many. So I think it's important. And we're not only doing this in the traditional way. We're trying to see how we can, presenters. We have presenters from the UWI, from GC Foster, and also from JMNB, who will be trying to put it from a local point of view and see how it impacts on our culture. I should have said that JMNB Foundation, the Joan Duncan Foundation, has provided funding to this as well. So they saw the need for it. We had a discussion, action, another issue, and I recommended that it should be something good for us, and they have come on board as well.
Right, and you mentioned that you'll not be doing this the traditional way. Tell me what's the twist to this in terms of?
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so to give you an example of things that we've been looking at is what is the impact, for example, we look at, for example, mental abuse. We tend to think sometimes, and we had a conversation, we tend to think immediately of person shouting at an athlete. We think about it in that sort of a perspective, overtraining, the mental side of that. But we want the person to start to think a bit more and wider in the sphere. So, for example, an athlete goes to an event, and I mean, it was an example at boys' championships where that athlete, unfortunately, was unable to run the final. Could that be considered to be mental abuse? You know, he would have definitely had a mental impact on him. We can look at, for example, where we the officials make errors sometimes. We were supposed to select somebody, they never got selected. How do we deal with that? What's the mental impact on the athletes? And I'm in an event, and I think that I'm unfairly treated. So we want to try to take it out of the typical box of thinking that, if somebody's shouting at you, that is a mental abuse. So we think about physical abuse. How often do we see an event that maybe there are too many matches in a sport in a short period of time? Mm-hmm. Are we giving our athletes time to recover? Are we looking, for example, when we are traveling, do we give our athletes enough rest in between? Because rest is a part of the whole physical training process as well, too. So it's not just about purely the fact that when we say physical abuse, I trained you too hard, or I hit you or something like that. There are a lot of other aspects that administrators need to look at. As I said, typically I just had, funny enough, a friend of mine from Trinidad spoke to a matter of you're going to meet and the event is an hour and a half after you have warmed up. Would you still be warm at that time? So your facility to warm up stopped an hour and a half before the event. Do we go to events and we have enough hydration fluids, for example, for athletes? Is that some form of abuse or not when you're anticipating it? So we want to really take this thing, to make persons think that as an administrator, you do have a great responsibility, and that you should be thinking about all the things that are going to, at the end of the day, make our athletes perform well. So this is what we're trying to do. We have a really good panel of local presenters. I'm just trying to finalize the names on them, but they have all so far committed to doing it. And as I said, we have GC Foster on it. We have the University of the West Indies. We have persons from another organization, and we have JMMB, who have a program as well, which is also to look at athletes from a mental point of view, or just generally our lives mentally, to see how we can, recover from some of these same things that we're speaking about. How does one recover after they have had some sort of an incident that would have impacted on them?
Right. And with all of that, oftentimes we hear persons saying that sports reflect life and sports teaches you how to live life. What would you say to those who say, well, these situations shows that you have to pivot and in sports you have to but hold that thought. Let us just go over to the Grand Slam and get an interview from Ben Derek.
You went crazy. What are the emotions?
Emotions are high. I knew I was capable of hitting times like this, but I feel like this race was a pretty good race, and I'm just looking forward to tomorrow.
You talked about not being able to get in some of those high-profile 100-meter races. What kind of statement did you make today?
Hey, I'm dangerous. All I kept saying is that I need experience. I'm getting the experience, and you see what happens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oblique, you got out well. Take us back through that race.
Well, it's a pretty good run because the last time at Jamaica it was very disclosed, but I'm so happy with the time because I'm leaving from 10.0 to a 9.8. Even though it's a positive win, I will take it any day.
So you're getting ready for the 200 tomorrow. Does Grand Slam feel like rounds, or does it feel like a different race, even though you're lining up against the same people?
Yes, it actually helps us to go into the championship, like the World Championship and the Olympics. I think it's actually something good for the sport to actually go through the rounds.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, so that was Oblique Seville. He finished second in the 100 meters behind Kenny Benderick. The winner we heard from Kenny Benderick, and then Oblique Seville. Let's go back to Alan Beckford. Alan, yes, like I was saying, persons tend to say that sports teaches you how to manage life. And if this situation comes up in sports, then it helps the sports person to better navigate life. What would you say to persons who have that mentality?
I think I agree with you that sports does teach you how to deal with life, but there are some aspects of sports that we could have avoided, and I would say there are man-made issues that we need to take more time to try to avoid some of these, because at the same time too, we're not sure how many persons have had some amount of abuse, whether it be sexual, mental, physical, that may have actually stopped their career, and it also may have created a life sort of scar or problem for them. So there is one thing for them to go through it, but at the same time when they're going through it, we need to also recognize it, because there are times when it has happened, so we need to see how maybe we can help them after it has actually happened, but at least be aware of it so that we can deal with the issue. So there's something, for example, if I go to training and I train hard and I go to the race and I make a mistake in that mistake, it's my mistake, and I can deal with it. There are other times somebody may have tripped me in a race, and that's part of the sport. But what you want to know is that when these issues happen, is that we show equity in sports and fair play. I always say to persons, having been an official myself at the highest level, I'd say there are only two objectives of sports, and one is fair play and the other one is safety. That's all rules in sports have one or both components. We must make sure that fair play is there all the time. So what we want to do is to reduce these incidents that persons have to be having issues that they need to recover from. I heard an interview being done on the radio, and it's just unfortunate a lot of persons believe that they're being targeted because of, for some reason or the other, when most times I'm sure they're not being targeted. Mm-hmm. But we want to be reducing these incidents in sports as much as possible so that we don't have hurt that is very difficult to repair. So we want persons to be aware of these things. And also, as a country, I say, for example, when you're managing a team and you take that team away and the athletes don't have what they need, is it the athlete who should be blamed? Is the athlete supposed to recover from the fact that this thing happened because he got no sleep for 24 hours or he had to sleep in an airport? Could we have avoided it? Sometimes we can't avoid it. Sometimes it's financial. But we need to be aware that these are the issues. And a part of it, too, is also being engaged in the various stakeholders within our sports. We need to be engaged in the coaches. We need to be engaged in maybe the psychologists, the persons who deal with mental issues, the physical issues, the trainers, athletic trainers, the physiotherapists, the doctors. So it's really looking at it from an holistic point. But at the end of the day, what you're saying is also correct. The fact of the matter is that we learn from our sporting experiences. But the kind of thing we want to really get out of our sporting experience is that I get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, I go to training, I train hard, I go to a meet. That's a good work ethic. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see us getting out of the life experience from our athletes. I don't want them to get a life experience where they felt that they were hurt by society in general, hurt by the sport, and then they don't want to come back and participate in the sport for whatever reason. It may be as simple as I was speaking to somebody today at swimming, and your child didn't want to continue to swim because they never, at their early age of swimming, they weren't allowed to play, because when you're young and in sports, you have what you call a long-term athlete development process, and we want to ensure that an athlete who is coming or a swimmer coming at a young age, he's not forced to do something, he has no fun in the sport, and no, he doesn't want to continue in the sport. So we need to open our eyes. There's just a multiplicity of issues. Now, you may say, okay, so he went in and he had to train hard at that age, and this is a life experience. Well, yes, it is a life experience, but do we want to be perpetuating some of these life experiences? We want to avoid some of them, and we want to not have them at all, because we don't know many times what we lose along the road, generally speaking, just because of some of our practices that could have been changed.
And finally, just remind us when and where is this seminar?
It's going to be 5:30 on the 29th of May. I just finalized the venue now. It's pretty much finalized, but it will be 5:30. We're going to have 3 presenters, so it will be about half an hour each, and it will be something that we're asking all national associations to come. If you're part of an association, be free to come. If you're a coach, you can contact us at the Sports Development Foundation, and we'll be able to give you further details. But we'll be sending out this week all of the details to all of the national sporting federations. So if you're part of a federation, feel free to contact them, and you'll also be able to attend, because we pretty much want anybody who is interested in coming, and it's just one of the things that we're trying to do to educate people in sports. It's of our opinion, the better educated our administrators are, it's a better sports we'll have at the end of the day, because they'll be able to, to function better. And we're not just doing things, for example, safeguarding, say we're looking at sponsorship. We're going to have something soon on selling your product, which is the sports product. And so we have been doing a multiplicity of seminars, and it is something that we will continue through 2025. Thank you so much for the time this evening, and I do appreciate it.
Oh, a pleasure. Okay, so that was Alan Beckford, sports administrator. Sharing with us a seminar coming up later this month. It will be speaking on the whole protection of athletes, safeguarding in sports is a critical aspect of ensuring the safety, well-being and rights of athletes at all levels. Alan, again, thanks much for stopping by, and wish you and your team all the best.
Thank you so much.
Blessings. Alan Beckford, sports administrator. We'll take a break and come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Be part of something meaningful. The third annual Stories to Create charity golf tournament tees off July 19 at the Constant Spring Golf Course, and we're inviting title sponsors and presenting sponsors to help us drive impact. This high-energy event supports EHAS Inc. and its mission to empower youth through storytelling, mentorship, and education. With media coverage, brand visibility, and community goodwill, this is more than just sponsorship. It's partnership with purpose. Secure your sponsorship today. Contact EHAS Inc. at 876-836-3014, and let's create a story worth telling.
Every day, we use our feet to walk, run, and take us to amazing places. But your feet can do something even more amazing. A simple step can change a life. Join Guardian Group's Shine 5K Night Run, formerly the Keep It Alive 5K, and make us try to support the Noel Holmes Hospital, the Bustamante Hospital for Children, and Project Star. Saturday, May 10 in Kingston and Saturday, May 24 in Montego Bay. New name, but same epic vibe. Register today at run2shineja.com or runningeventsja.com, and see you at Shine 2025.
Okay, good evening. Welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alric Sraby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We'll be talking some basketball now, the NBA. as it's in the playoff mood with Mike Rhodes. Now, Fred Van Vliet scored 29 points as the Houston Rockets beat the Golden State Warriors 115 to 107 to level their NBA playoff first round series at 3-3 and force the deciding Game 7. Experienced point guard Van Vliet starred for the Rockets, adding 8 assists and 8 rebounds to his points haul, while Alperen Sengun recorded a double-double with 21 points and 14 rebounds. As I said earlier, we are joined by broadcast assistant for the Toronto Raptors, Mike Rhodes. Mike, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thanks for having me, Howard.
It's my pleasure. It's been a long time. How you been?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. I was wondering what was going on. You guys just dashed me away or something? What happened?
No, nothing like that. We realize that you're rich and we're not in your sphere, so we can't call you. No, but no, we have been following. I have been following, especially your podcast, and I see you have mixed it up a bit. You no longer speak only basketball on the podcast, but you're doing politics and stuff. What's it like on your podcast now?
Yeah, you're right. I had to mix it up a little bit just because there are so many important things that are going on in the world. And, I wanted to just kind of diversify the portfolio a little bit. And, you kind of want to keep people updated, whether it's politics, culture, sports, and beyond. So many people like many different things, so I just didn't want it to be one thing. You know what I mean?
Right. And how has the reception been with the change?
It's good. It's good. My bread and butter will always be sports and basketball, and so, a large majority of my audience still recognizes me mostly for that. But the transition has been good. I've been getting a lot of good feedback, and people do want to hear me speak a lot more about politics as well, just because we just went through a very big election in Canada, and there's a lot of change coming, and so people want to be informed. It's been good. It's been good.
Right. Remind us of your podcast.
Sorry?
Remind us of your podcast.
Oh, so it is the Mike Roach podcast, and before I was previously just on Spotify and Apple, but now it is also on YouTube, so you can get the visual as well.
Okay. So, let's jump into the meat of the matter why we invited you, the NBA. But before we go into the games, Greg Popovich has stepped down as Spurs head coach after 29 years. What do you think of his legacy and his decision to step down? Did it come as a surprise, or the fact that he is recovering from a mild stroke from November, you sort of expected it?
I did kind of expect it. It's sad to see him go. I think Greg Popovich is one of those coaches where he is arguably one of the best coaches in NBA history, but I think it's even larger than that at this point. I think he can be recognized as one of the best coaches in sports history altogether. When you see this man's resume, what he was able to accomplish, 5 championships, bunch of Hall of Fame players underneath him, and then the amount of coaches that have gone on to take on their own team and be lead assistants and all those things, even in the WNBA, Greg Popovich has a really, really good legacy underneath him. And I am happy that he is kind of stepping aside just because of the health scares. He is still going to be a part of the organization, still in a vital way. But I do want to see him take care of his health first and foremost. And when you're traveling from city to city and you're on the sideline and the blood pressure is going up, it is a lot. It is a lot to deal with. He's getting older as well. His wife passed away not too long ago as well. And I don't really think he took that much time for himself. So I'm glad to see him right now just kind of prioritizing his health and taking a step back, even though he will still be really involved with the organization.
What do you think is his legacy to the sport of basketball? He hasn't completely stepped aside, but what's his legacy so far?
Well, I think it's a few different things. First of all, the way that he communicates with his players is everybody has to be accountable. And I think that is one thing that all coaches can take from him. He didn't treat players differently. They all got the same treatment, whether you were Tim Duncan or Ginobili or the last guy on the bench. If you messed up, you were going to be held accountable. And that is one thing that I recognize with Greg Popovich above everything. And Greg Popovich had a culture where if you didn't respect the game, if you didn't respect the culture, if you didn't give 100% when you were on the court, you couldn't be a part of that organization. You could not be a part of it. It didn't matter how good the team was. It didn't matter how bad the team was. Greg Popovich had teams and players that understood that they have to give everything that they have when they play for him and that organization. And I think that is his legacy. He always got the best out of his players and his staff.
Right. He was inducted in the NBA Hall of Fame in 2023. Tell me, rightfully so, but tell me, you think he should have been inducted earlier?
I think so. I probably think. I mean, it's no question. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer. This guy it's unquestionable. I mean, without a doubt, for sure.
Right. Okay. So let's get into the games. Let's start with the game that I mentioned earlier, the Rocket Warriors game. Rocket beats the Warriors to tie up that series 3-3. When you look at these two teams, it seems like youth against experience. Is that what you're seeing?
That is what I'm seeing. It is what I'm seeing. And, you know, Golden State still has a good team, but the Rockets have a pretty darn good team as well. They have a lot of young guys, and what they did is that they tied it in and mixed it in with some guys with experience, which is really nice to see, right? I mean, you mentioned Fred VanVleet and the way that he's been playing, and then you have another young bull in Dylan Brooks who can play on both sides of the ball. The one question mark that we have, because he's been very up and down, has been Jalen Green. Now, Jalen Green in Game 7 can come out with any type of consistency, and not just from three-point range. If he can get to the basket, be aggressive, get to the free throw line, and just put pressure on the defense to, you know, make them at least respect his jump shot. If he can break down and even distribute to his teammates, I mean, it'll make a huge difference with what they're doing in that game plan. Amen Thompson is another guy. Tari Eason is another guy. These guys have players. Jabari Smith has been playing really well, coming off the bench, making threes for them. Houston has the pieces to be able to go up against Golden State. Now, Game 7 is going to be tricky because it is going to be an experienced thing. Like Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are going to be nothing to sneeze at in Game 7. We have seen this before. They have been here many times, and they're not going to be afraid, even if they're playing in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry, we all know, this is the best shooter on God's green earth that we have ever seen. He's going to be ready for the moment, and so will Jimmy Butler. I can't say the same for these guys on Houston. Very good team. And can they win? Absolutely. But it's hard to bet against Curry and Butler. And Draymond Green, you know, from a defensive standpoint, is going to turn it up.
Right. There was a time when the LA Lakers were being characterized as a senior citizen group because of the age of the players. Are you concerned that this Warriors team is falling into that category and the fact that they are going up against some young players, youth will win out over experience?
Well, I wouldn't say they're in that senior citizens category yet. You know, not far away, but they're not exactly there yet. These are players on the Golden State Warriors that are more than capable, and they have some youth that they've actually tied into these veterans as well. Steph Curry, yes, he's getting older, but he's still balling. Jimmy Butler as well. I mentioned to you about Draymond Green, but they do still have other pieces that can do a lot of things, make shots, play, defend, get up and down the court quickly. They have guys who can make some noise alongside those three. So yes, they are getting older, but you better believe that they can still compete.
Right. And the Timberwolves, they would have beaten the LA Lakers 4-1 in their series, prompting LeBron James, from report I've seen, to say he's not sure of his playing status now that the season is finished. Tell me your thoughts on this Timberwolves team. Do they have the goods to go all the way?
I don't know if they have the goods to go all the way. I think they can. I believe they're good enough to get to the conference finals. I believe that. But I'm not sure they have exactly enough to go up against the likes of Oklahoma City. You know, Oklahoma City, to me, is the team to beat in the Western Conference. Now, the Minnesota Timberwolves, I mean, don't get it twisted. They can definitely play. I mean, when you look at a stud like Anthony Edwards, the guy can do it all. He can defend, can shoot. Can defend, can shoot, can get to the basket, can make clutch shots, can handle the ball, will pass it out, find the open man. It's the other guys that I'm worried about, like the bench. You have Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The bench is the question for me. Naz Reid is coming off, and it's good, but do they have enough? Like, to me, Rudy Gobert played amazing. One of the best, probably the best game of his career in that Game 5 against the LA Lakers. How consistently can he do that?
Right.
I'm not sure how consistent he can do that. And going up against the Lakers didn't have any bigs on the floor. That was when they start going up against these other teams. I mean, Golden State, if they happen to make it through, they don't have many bigs either. But if you end up against a team like the Clippers, Denver, Oklahoma City, those teams do have bigs, and not just bigs who are slow and can't move. They're mobile. They can defend. They can run the floor. Those are the questions I have on if those bigs can handle that for Minnesota. Randall is good. Randall is rough. He's tough. He can shoot it from the outside, and I like him. But overall, I'm just wondering from a depth standpoint, because those other teams, they have a bit of depth. And I'm not sure Minnesota has enough to go up against those other teams. You're going to need a superhuman performance from Anthony Edwards. And we have seen him at times struggle a little bit, and he does make it up by doing other things. But we're going to have to see him drop, 30-point games consistently if he's going to want to get to that next level and go all the way.
Let's look at that losing team in that series, Los Angeles Lakers, going down 4-1. Did you see, even if you see them losing, did you see them losing 4-1 against this Minnesota team, especially with that surprise trade that they had earlier in the season?
I found them losing in 6 games, to be quite honest with you. But, as we went through Game 1 and Game 2, it was more apparent to me that the Lakers were not going to do very well in the series because they just can't defend very well. Like, they don't have anybody in the middle. They have no anchor on defense. And the perimeter defense isn't really good enough to keep anybody outside of the lane, at least consistently. Luka Doncic is a really good player. But towards the end of the season, watching some of these Lakers games, he cannot keep anybody in front of him. And even when he's not the primary defender, from a weak side, help side standpoint, still not very good defending at all either. And so it was apparent to me that the Lakers were going to have a lot of trouble in regards to their defense. LeBron James, as good as he is, at the age of 40, he can't do it all anymore.
Right.
And he's going to need help. There are times where he's going to have to find times during the game when he's on the court to take a rest. He's going to have to find ways to rest while he's playing, not just sitting on the bench.
Right.
And they're just, the Lakers right now, you asked the right question in regards to LeBron James and his future. I don't know what's going to happen at this point because I'm not sure that players really want to play with LeBron James anymore.
Right.
Really good players in this league, I don't think they want to play with LeBron anymore. And that's not a knock. I just think that he's past that point in his career. And if the Lakers and LeBron James, in my opinion, knew what was good for the both of them, I think it's probably about time that they part ways.
So you
build around Luka Doncic. He's the new young guy in town.
So I'm figuring that's why they made that trade so late in the night when they brought him into Lakers. They would have seen the writing on the wall that James is on his way out.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm pretty sure that they thought they would compete farther than just the first round, but the fashion in which you lost at the same time is also a problem. I mean, 4-1, just an absolute beatdown when you were the higher-seeded team as well. Just not a good look. And to be completely honest with you, LeBron James, this would be the perfect time for him to go. Because, to me, if you can't get any free agents there, you're not going to win with rookies.
Right.
And so right now would be the perfect time for him to say, well, listen, I can opt out. You guys brought in Luka Doncic for a reason. He's the new young kid in town, the superstar. You guys can go build around him, and maybe you'll get free agents. And I think at this point it's time for LeBron James to go.
So, like I said, you wouldn't be surprised if you hear a press conference or a press release or on social media that he has decided to step away, especially what he has achieved on the court and the fact that he got to play with his son in an NBA game. I mean, there's nothing else left for him to do.
Well, I mean, what he's accomplished is amazing. 22 years, one of the greatest players you're ever going to see. And like you just mentioned, him playing now with his son on the team. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because it does bring a question, right? Like, he got his son a 4-year deal, brings him into that roster as well under J.J. Redick and the organization. But if he leaves, does he want his son to be with him as well? What happens to Bronny James in that situation? I'm not 100% sure. And when they traded for Luka Doncic, I'm pretty sure they knew and understood that they most likely would not win in the first season that he was here.
Right.
But to me, at this point, I don't really think – some people may think they're close. I don't really think they're that close to winning. You're going to need pieces. You can't just get any rinky-dink center and think that your team is going to be exponentially better because you have, some little decent center. You're really going to need guys that can play. Because when I think about the Western Conference, forget about the East. Forget about even getting to the finals at this point, Alric. You got to think, you're not better than the Clippers, in my opinion. You're not better than Denver. You're not better than Oklahoma City. Arguably not better than Golden State, Houston, Minnesota. It's going to be tough. There's a lot of good teams in the Western Conference. You look at a team like Dallas, if they're healthy as well, AD, Kyrie, back, healthy, along with Gafford and Lively and Klay Thompson. There's going to be a lot of good teams again next season. So unless, like I mentioned, the Lakers can get some type of free agent, I really don't know how far they're going to go with this tandem again. I think they just, I think right now is a good time. I don't think you want to waste another year and wait too long if you're LeBron James. You don't know when you're going to retire at this point. Maybe he does. But, you're going to have to evaluate pretty much after every season at this point.
All right. Let's look at the Knicks. They would have see off the Detroit Pistons 4-2 in their series. How much of a contender are they?
The Knicks are good. The Knicks are really good. They're going to be going up against the Boston Celtics. That's going to be a hell of a series. Really, really good series. The Knicks are tough. They have some grit. That's the kind of coach that Tom Thibodeau is, and that's the kind of point guard that they have. They have some really good defensive players when you look at Bridges and OG Anunoby. They have offensive firepower as well. They're going to be good. I don't think they can beat the Boston Celtics. Like, to me, if I had to give you a percentage out of 100, maybe 40%. Maybe a 40% chance I would give them. But the Boston Celtics are just really, really loaded. Can the Knicks beat the Boston Celtics? Maybe, but I don't think it's likely. I don't think it's likely. They can, though. They can. I won't completely dismiss them and rule them out. Jalen Brunson. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I would say Jalen Brunson, he's a bull, but he's banged up. He's banged up, and I'm pretty sure the Boston Celtics are going to be extremely physical with him. And because of that, you're going to need to see some more offensive production from Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, and especially Mikal Bridges. They're not going to be able to just lean on Jalen Brunson for this one because Boston has a lot of versatile defensive players. And they have another guy, in Peyton Pritchard, who's really annoying. He can agitate you. They're probably going to try to wear Brunson out 94 feet and pick him up full court and wear him down that way. And they're going to need Jalen Brunson to have at least a little bit of his legs in the last few minutes of the game because he is that clutch player. He is that guy. He is very clutch. He can make shots. We saw what he did in the first round. And they're going to have to do this by committee. You can't just lean all on Jalen Brunson to get by the Boston Celtics here.
Right. And one of the more controversial series, the last game, that is, the Milwaukee Bucks series against Indiana Pacers, that confrontation with Antetokounmpo and the father of Haliburton. What do you make of that? I mean, watching sports, basketball is the only sport I see with that phenomenon where the fans are allowed to invade the court at the end of the game, mixing up with the players. It doesn't happen in football. It doesn't happen in cricket. It doesn't happen in several other sports that I've watched, not even track and field. But basketball, the fans are like right on the court, and at the end of the game they invade it. I mean, what about all the safety concerns? I mean, fans tend to be just as into the game and as invested in the game as the players. What are the safety concerns? You see, it wasn't anything major. It was the father of Haliburton in the face of Antetokounmpo, who had just lost the game. His emotion would have been high as well. It could have gone south easily. What are some of the safety concerns that the NBA has in regards to that? It has always puzzled me the way that they allowed fans to invade the court.
Well, Alric, you're asking a really good question here. And, the NBA, to a certain degree, is going to have to make an example out of Tyrese Haliburton's father because it's true what you're saying. It's extremely dangerous. That could have gone really, really bad. If it wasn't Giannis Antetokounmpo, a guy who can control himself, if that was another player, and that player ran upon Haliburton's father and punched him in the face or choked him or something like that, that would have been horrific for the NBA. The NBA cannot allow this. They cannot allow this. They got to keep, and the thing is that sometimes I believe there's a rule where family members can come on the court. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right, where family members can come on the court, which is why I believe that the security in Indiana didn't stop him because they knew it was Haliburton's father. But they can't allow this. This was not good. This was not good at all. That could have gone very, very bad. It did go bad, but things could have gotten even worse.
Right.
And they did come out, and I know he apologized to the Pacers organization, the Bucks, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, but the NBA is going to have to make sure that this never happens again. And subsequently after, he has now been pretty much banned from the Pacers home games. He won't be on the road games either, going to see his son. I don't know what he was thinking. I know that he was happy, understandably so, seeing his son make the game-winning shot, but it's unacceptable.
Right.
It's unacceptable because that is a situation that could put many, many people in a very bad spot, a dangerous spot, and something could have happened and put a very, very dark scene or bad light on the NBA. They have to make an example that cannot happen again.
Right, but the Pacers did beat the Bucks and advance. Are they a team that can contend for the title, or at least reach the final?
I think Cleveland can. Not so sure about Indiana. Indiana is good, though. I like both of these teams. I think it's a really good matchup. Both of them have depth. Both of them have, I mean, when you look at Halliburton and Miles and Siakam, they have a lot of guys on that team. And the same thing with Donovan Mitchell. And, I mean, they just have a lot of guys on both of these teams with depth. I mean, Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, there's going to be a lot of defense on the side of the Cleveland Cavaliers and a lot of offense on the side of the Indiana Pacers. I think they're an evenly matched team, but I think Cleveland does have a bit more firepower offensively. I do like the way that the Pacers can get up and down, shoot a lot of three-point shots. They can break down defenses with some of the players that they have on that team. It's going to be a really fun matchup, a really good matchup. I would take the Cleveland Cavaliers in this series just because Garland is absolute stud. He's going to keep Halliburton on his toes. And from a defensive standpoint, Jared Allen and Mobley, just two really long, tall bigs for Cleveland. And then you look at DeAndre Hunter as well, who's a long, active defender that they bring off that bench. Just a lot of depth, good basketball all season long from the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think towards the end of the season, the Indiana Pacers started looking a lot better. And it, the tough break for the Milwaukee Bucks losing Damian Lillard. And, shout out to him. He did make a comeback and then went down with a pretty bad injury after that. But, I mean, it's tough for the Milwaukee Bucks. But overall, this is a really, really intriguing series, and I think it's going to be a really good one.
Okay, Mike, thanks much for dropping by and sharing your thoughts with us. We wish you all the best. And I'll continue to follow your podcast and listen to your views and the views of your guests.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me, Alec.
My pleasure. There you have it. Mike Roach, broadcast assistant for the Toronto Raptors. We take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Outperform, outlast, with top performance, Chakama, reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply. We service what we sell.
A mother's journey of love shared from generation to generation. Give her the ultimate relaxation and escape to Adam and Eve Day Spa and Salon for a mommy-made new experience this Mother's Day, Sunday, May 11. Book now at www.adamandeve.dayspaja.com. Purchase gift certificates or call 876-754-6017. Get mom the perfect gift of love. This Mother's Day, let Team Adam and Eve take her on a spa journey. She deserves it.
Every day, we use our feet to walk, run, and take us to amazing places. But your feet can do something even more amazing. A simple step can change a life. Join Guardian Group's Shine 5K Night Run, formerly the Keep It Alive 5K, and make us try to support the Noel Holmes Hospital, the Bustamante Hospital for Children, and Project Star. Saturday, May 10 in Kingston and Saturday, May 24 in Montego Bay. New name, but same epic vibe. Register today at run2shineja.com or runningeventsja.com and see you at Shine 2025.
Big news! The Big Bite Food Safety Show now airs on Nationwide 90 FM with your host, Alison Richards, the Food Safety Girl. Join Alison every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. as she serves up expert advice, tips, and insights on everything food safety. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, food safety is everybody's business. Don't miss a bite of the action. Tuesdays at 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. On the next episode, we go behind the produce stand. Safe, fresh produce vending in Jamaica.
Get ready for a fun-filled day of storytelling and imagination as Cliff Hughes Online and the E-Zone celebrates Read Across Jamaica Day with a special live outside broadcast from Seawood Primary and Infant School. Join us on Tuesday, May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we bring the joy of reading to life with exciting book readings and engaging conversations. Expect exciting prizes and surprises. So, tune in to Cliff Hughes Online and the E-Zone on May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's Read Across Jamaica Day at Seawood Primary and Infant School. Catch the live stream on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Chris and Charles, Pressbox Printers, Guardian Group's Shine 5K, Cozy Corner Books and more, eLearning Jamaica, and Kingston Bookshop.
Married life is a serious thing. Boy, careful how you put on the wedding ring.
For better or worse, in sickness or health, richer or poorer. But who generally wins in this equation? Or when the maths now add up? So many men avoid marriage, or those within complain of the constant worry that they can lose everything in the end. How reasonable are these thoughts though? Is it fair to use history and judge the likely outcome? If Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates can lose a lot, what about the average Joe? Join me, Rodman Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, is marriage just a legal contract that benefits women and children? What happened to the man them?
Husband and wife, pain and problem in them life. It's in them life, in them life.
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed. The Ministry of Health and Wellness. Healthy people, healthy environment. Dewars. Here's to the story. And Durex. Distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Get ready for a heartwarming and inspiring celebration as E-Zone honors the dedicated heroes of education on Teachers' Day with a special live outside broadcast from Lorna Auto Prep School. Join us on Wednesday, May 7th from 1 to 3 p.m. as we recognize and celebrate the teachers who shape minds, build futures, and inspire greatness every single day. So don't miss it. Celebrate Teachers' Day with the E-Zone and Lorna Auto Prep School on May 7th from 1 to 3 p.m. Catch the live stream on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Chris and Charles and JT Cooperative Credit Union.
But is this real? Hey Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So much we have left? What? I soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene.
Amplify your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand.
Okay, good evening and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Weber, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator / production assistant. We'll be talking some swimming now as a team of 11 swimmers leave for the first Pan Aquatics Championships in Colombia from May 11 to 18. There will also be representation in synchronized swimming. Now we have in studio the manager of the team that will be traveling over to Colombia, Delia Alert, and swimmers Leah Forrester and Brandon Wong. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, thank you.
It's my pleasure. Let me start with you, Madam Manager. Pan Aquatics Championships are the first. Tell us about this championships, how it came about. Why we have a Pan Aquatics Championships when we have so many other swimming meets. Just tell us a bit about the championship.
Okay, the Pan Am Championships is really competition between the Pan American region, the Central American region, as well as the Caribbean. So it's a step above the Carifta, which is pretty much regional. It's a little wider. Of course, a faster meet. Qualifying times are much faster too. And we have 11 athletes who are well prepared going in, and we really expect quite a bit from this competition.
Like you said, the athletes are well prepared for this competition. A number of them would have been coming out of the Carifta Games. When you look at what they would have done in the Carifta, tell me how confident are you that these athletes will make Jamaica as proud as the Carifta team did?
So there are 4 athletes coming from Carifta who will be going on to Pan Am. And only 4 just because of the time that Pan Am has fallen, because May is actually time for examinations here. So many of the athletes actually can't attend. But we have 4 from the Carifta, and there are 3 who are between the age range of the 16 to 18 bracket, and another 2 or 3 that's 19 to 22. Those would be outside of the Carifta age group. But Jamaica is now on a high. Our swimming is on the rise. And the energy is up. The training has been consistent and has been consistently good too. So I know that these athletes are actually very enthused, very encouraged, very motivated to really go and ensure that we are no less than we are coming out of Carifta. Yes, it's a tougher competition, but I think that they are ready for it.
I think so they're enthused, they're ready, they're pumped up. Let me bring the athletes in and see if what you're saying is true. This is Brandon and Leah. This is the first Pan Am Aquatics Championships, meaning you are all going to be trailblazers for Jamaica's swimmers going forward. Tell me, are you nervous? How prepared are you? Or are you anxious to go out there and compete. Let me start with you, Leah. What's going through your mind now that you're on the team, now that you're preparing, now that you're getting ready to go over to Colombia for this first Pan Am Aquatics Championships?
I mean, I've always wanted to compete at like a big regional meet like this that includes, the Caribbean, Central America, South America. It also includes the USA and Canada, which is exciting for me. So even when the team was just picked, I was already basically training for that team before the name was actually really picked. And right about now, I wouldn't say I'm nervous, but I can't really contain the excitement because I'm trusting in my training and I feel like I'm going to just do something great.
So what you're telling me, you have been training for this team even before it was selected. So going over to Colombia, we can expect about 1,300 gold medals from you, right?
Hopefully, all being well.
Brandon, let me bring you in here. Carifta is a tough group, but it's the Caribbean. You'll be going up against swimmers from the USA, Canada, and other Americas, countries from the Americas. Tell me, what are your thoughts going into the championships? What are you looking forward to? What have you been preparing? How have you been prepared to ensure that you come out with showing off your best?
All right. So, like Leah, I have been, training and conditioning myself to make another national team this year because it is my goal for every year to try to make a national team. I'm excited to go. My excitement level is definitely up there, but I'm not nervous. Sure, I get nerves. That's just adrenaline, right? Just going in here and there, but ultimately I'm not nervous because I'm there to have fun. I'm there to do my all, give my best, make my parents proud, make everyone proud, make the country proud. And yeah, so it's just, just training myself to be the best possible version as I can be leading up to this moment where I go and perform.
Okay. And you're both sounding confident, so between the two of you, we have 26,000 gold medals. But Leah, tell me what's the event you'll be competing in? What's the strokes that you'll be taking part in?
So I'll be doing the 50, 100, and the 50 meter, 100 meter, and 200 meter backstroke. I'll also be competing in the 200 meter IM, 100 meter freestyle, and 50 meter breaststroke.
And when you look at those events, which you think is the one that you are most certain that you can medal?
I'd say I'm most confident in my 100 meter backstroke. Again, we all don't know who's going to be there, what they're going to do, but I'm really confident in what I can do in the 100 back and all my backstrokes because I've been, focusing on them. So you should see something good from those.
And Brandon, what events will you be participating in?
Okay, so I'll be doing 10 events. I'm doing all.
You don't plan on coming back to Jamaica?
I mean, for a man like me, that's full of energy. Then I think 10 events is a reasonable amount of number for me. So, like I said, 10 events, all 50s: 50 meter freestyle, 50 meter breaststroke, 50 meter backstroke, and 50 meter fly. I'm doing 100 meter breaststroke, 100 meter fly, and 100 meter freestyle. I'm also doing 200 backstroke, 200 breaststroke, and 20 meter freestyle.
Okay, like Leah said, this is the first Pan Am Aquatics Championship, so you're not sure who will be at the championship. But tell me, have you've been watching tapes on your own or with your team? Just to give an idea of what to expect. I mean, watching the USA, the Canadas, the standout nations in swimming, watching them to say, okay, this is what to expect. Have you been doing any sort of research like that, or you're just trusting your training and your coaches?
Okay, so my father, he would actually send me Instagram reels on swimming. So I would, take that into consideration and I'd say, okay, let me watch this guy swim a stroke and let me see by the next training session, can I replicate what he does? And if I successfully manage to do that, I say, okay, I'm on the right track. Let's take it a step further. Let's see if I can add some speed, some power to it. Because, it's all about the technique first, and after that, you can, develop the speed and the power from there, and then right there, you're good.
If you want to be a great swimmer, you have to watch some of my reels when I'm competing. But I'll say so. Let me come back to the Madam Manager. Delia, this 11-member team, you said that you could have had more if it wasn't for exams and other issues. But tell me, when the team went over to Carrickfergus, one of the highlight or one of the high point of that team was the fact that we were able to participate in relays, in all the relays. You won't have this for this team.
No. So 30 members, I think, were named to this team. In addition to the team management, which the coach is actually Coach Wendy Lee. She's off just now, and we're now down to 11. As it turns out, there's no age group that has 4 athletes. So the 13 to 15 there is 1 girl and 3 boys. For the 16 to 18, 1 girl. The other age group, 1 girl. So there will not be a relay team, which is also different from last year's Pan Am, because last year's Pan Am we had a number of medals, many of which came from the 12 to 15 age group. Right. Relay teams. This year, with only 7 athletes last year, we had like over 30 medals because we had relays, in addition to really good performances. This year is a little different, though. No relays because of a small team, but we're still going to be quite impactful.
Right. Tell me, what's your expectation from this team going over?
Well, definitely the best that they can deliver. In terms of medal output, I think we should have quite a number of podium finishes, just looking at what happened in Carrickfergus and looking at what the times were for last year. Of course, I'm not the coach, so I'll not try to speak like the coach, but from my perspective, and my evidence is quite anecdotal, I think we should have quite a few podium finishes. I'm not sure if we're going to hit last year's medal haul, but we should definitely look quite good for the small team. We're going to be quite Talawa, even though we're little. Yes.
Okay. But if you had me on the team, you wouldn't have to worry about it, really. I could swim all 4 legs, but...
I bet.
Well, Leah, like you said, you're excited, you're pumped, you want to give off your best going over. Tell me, what has preparation been? How have you been... Like I said, you have started prepare even before the team was selected. What that looked like? What that preparation looked like?
So, well, my preparation for a good portion, I didn't have my coach because my coach was the coach that went to Carrickfergus, Coach Kafia Rapley. But we have an assistant coach, so coach sends the programs for me to do, and it's like 3 weeks prior to this, I've started hitting more of my in-race goals, like what I want to do in the pool, considering the pool that I train in 25 meter, and I don't normally get to do a start. So the aims that I have, uncomfortable conditions, I'm normally not rested, I don't get to do a start, I normally have to do it multiple times. So the repetition and the uncomfortableness, it gives me confidence that when I go into the race conditions where, I'll be rested, I'll have on my suit, I'll have a start, and the atmosphere will be good. It's just really building my confidence because I already have the stroke, the backstroke. Like, I can swim backstroke, but how am I going to do the 100? How am I going to swim this 200? How am I going to swim the 50? So that's really what I've been working on.
No problem. I'll send you a program as to how to
Okay.
do this. and Brandon, tell me, what are some of your goals that you have set for yourself going into this championship?
Okay, so some of my goals, not only to PB, but, come home with a gold, a silver, a bronze, anything that shows to someone that, hey, I was there and I was great. And in terms of preparation, it's more so mixed in terms of the meters of the pool, because most days in training I would train in the 25 meter or the 50 meter. So that then puts my mind in a framework saying, okay, so what if the pool is a 25 meter? You can do this, you have enough power. And what if the pool is a 50 meter pool? You can transfer that power from the 25 into the 50. So you already know what to do, right? And most of my training has been more so strategical training. So, we do more long distance, because if you train long distance more, it helps you when you're doing sprints. So actually, I had just completed our Easter term for training, which was very, very hard. My Coach Gillian Millwood, and Coach Sage Sinclair, they made it exceptionally hard, but I managed to push through, and I managed to, break through some limits that I did have. And I feel like, because I've broken through those limits, I am now saying to myself, okay, I am confident that I can do this. I just need to think about it strategically, and I just need to transfer what I did into the pool, into the race, but with a bit more power to it.
Right. I love how you say that you train strategically and you look to your right. As if to say somebody didn't train strategically. Well, but that's okay. Madam Manager Delia, to take a team anywhere costs a pretty penny. I mean, I know you have a lot of money, but it's 11 swimmers that you're taking over there and coaches. Tell me, what has it been like in terms of support from corporate Jamaica and various fraternities as well as government? What's the budget like, and how much have you raised so far, and what is left to be raised?
Well, the Pan Am trip, of course, it's to Medellin, Colombia. And it's a long competition. It's 5 days. We leave on May 11 and return on May 18. The cost to each parent, it's about $550,000 per child, actually. There's a parent or parents who have 2 kids, Colin Mackenzie and Malcolm Mackenzie. Yes, they're overseas based, but that's 1.1 million to that family in particular. So it actually costs quite a bit. With respect to sponsorship, we haven't had any. So far, we're hoping that eventually we'll get, even if it comes in afterwards, at least there'll be some kind of reimbursement. We're also looking at internal fundraising, like we've been, trying to sell these beautiful caps, Jamaica swim caps.
Show to the cameras.
Yes. To raise funds for the Pan Am, and it was actually a Carifta initiative.
Okay.
But it's now Pan Am's. And we'll be having different popcorn, snow cone type stuff sale to just raise some funds to see how best we can alleviate the cost to the parents. We have 11 swimmers: Arush Roshalani, Reese, Hunter, Suraj Gualani, Brandon, Leah, Kia Alert, Kia Alert, Sarah Scott, Zach Andre Johnson, Josh Wilkinson, of course Colin Mackenzie and Malcolm Mackenzie. And most of these persons are they have been around the block quite a bit. In terms of national representation, they're expected to do quite well, carry our flag pretty strongly, bravely, proudly, and we really would like for persons to believe in the team, believe in the dream, come on board, support our athletes, and really be a part of the celebratory group, knowing that you actually helped to push them forward.
I'm going to ask you to hold the thought as we go over to the Grand Slam track for this interview from Gabby. So Grand Slam track, Gabby Thomas, she...
Personal best.
Okay, so let's try and get back to that later on. But you were saying, sorry about that. Okay, let me come back to you, Leah. Like your manager said, you have school, you have exams. Tell me, how have you been able to balance all of that to ensure that you maximize your potential in both swimming and academics?
All right. So I'm currently a third year student at the University of Technology. I'm doing my bachelor's in sports science and athletic training. Actually, at the moment, I'm in the middle of my final exam period, and this year, like last year when I had my final exams or in the exam period, I was going to the Carifta Games, and can't lie, it was kind of stressful at the time, especially with the subjects I was doing at the time. It was stressful. But I did get through. Was able to balance. And this year is better able to balance my training with the exam periods, because in university I have exams either 9, 1, or 5 p.m. and then those times can clash with my training program. So I was able to work out with my coach on days that I miss. I can have make-up days, or most times when I'm at home, I have exercises that I do so that I don't really lose kind of like the exercises that I'm doing at training. Like I just keep up the momentum. So when I go back to training the next day, I don't feel like I didn't train, even though I wasn't able to get in the water.
And Brandon, for you, how do you balance academics and sport?
Okay, so I am in my second to final year at the American International School of Kingston. I'm currently doing IB. And that program, it's a rigorous program, but once you manage your time, you'll be able to overcome it, and it'll become easier for you. With the subjects that I'm doing, it is kind of rough, because it's a lot of studying, it's a lot of content that you have to cover. So what I usually do, I would make a study schedule, and I have it on my board in my room. And let's say on Monday I would study chemistry. So every Monday I would, study chemistry for 1.5, 2 hours. And how I can match that with my training is that, okay, some days when I don't have training, which is a Tuesday, a Thursday, Sunday, I can just study extra. And even when I come home after 7, after training, okay, I can dedicate a good 1.5 hours to those studies. And sometimes when there is no school, I would also do some studies and, go to training. So that way I don't lose my flow, because, being out of the water for one day feels like you're out of the water for like a good 3 weeks. So it's that consistency that really you have to keep going. So, yeah, just managing my time between schoolwork and swimming. It's just normal like that.
Right, okay. I'm going to give both of you an opportunity just to say thanks to all of those persons who would have been behind you, supporting you in your swimming, in your academics so far. Just to say thanks and acknowledge their assistance. Let me start with you, Leah.
So, I'd like to thank God for bringing me this far. I'd also really like to give lots of thanks to my parents, all the family that's here, overseas, who are watching, and the minute they heard that I was going away to swim, the first thing they asked is okay, what can we do? When is she going? And all that. Really big thanks to my coach. I've been swimming with my coach. She actually taught me how to swim from the age of 3. So, to see how far I've come with her as my coach, and the assistant coach, Coach Ricky. It's really, it's really touching. So really thank you to really everyone, friends and family.
And Brandon?
Okay, so I'd like to thank my mother, first of all, for introducing me to swimming. Ever since I joined Speedos from, when I was 3, it was, it's been a good experience. I'd like to thank all my coaches, Coach Marie, Coach Prince, Coach Michael, Coach Gillian, for helping me to get this far with my career. And I don't think I'd ever stop swimming because it's a really fun sport and it's a really relaxing sport. I'd like to thank my father. He's always, behind my back, sending me things from Instagram, always giving me tips and ideas for how I swim. Also like to thank my friends, how they react to me when I say, yeah, I went overseas and I swam. They'd be like, oh, that's cool. Did you get any medals? And then when I show them that I got medals and when I show them my times, they're like really proud of me. They're really supportive of me. So I'm very, very grateful to have those friends, because support is, at the end of the day, support is what you need, because that's what really keeps you going through sports like this. That's really stressful and time consuming.
I'm wondering why when you're thanking the Father, you said it like that. I want to thank my Father who is always on my back.
No, because
I just wonder. Well, Madam Manager, let me give you this opportunity to thank those who would have been supporting swimming, Corporate Jamaica, the government, and encourage them to come on board and support this team as well.
Oh, we have, I don't want to list, but I think first of all, we would like to thank the leadership of the ACJ. I think they've done a really good job in ensuring that the organization is stable and has a kind of structure that ensures that for each possible competition, the country has athletes ready. And the country has a kind of structure of getting the athletes to competition. So I'm really appreciative of that. And these are primarily volunteers, right? Absolutely. So outside of that organization structure, we could not be having this meeting. You understand? So I'm really appreciative of that. I'm really appreciative of the coaches, the parents who have just been pouring in and toiling. And at this point, I have to express my appreciation for all those sponsors who have come aboard in previous competitions, and the government too, and do hope that at some point for this competition and competitions going forward, we get support and more support. Jamaica's swimming is actually on the rise. We are a resilient set of people. We carry the flag very proudly. And we are committed to excellence. With a little more support, believe me, we're unstoppable.
Right, okay. When you're leaving out, just stop at the technical booth and talk to Kevin. You write your check. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for stopping by. I wish you and your team all the best. But you didn't tell us how much was for the hats.
Oh, so we have these caps, black, the gold, and the green, representing our national colors, and they are marked Team Jamaica Swimming, and each is for $3,000, only 3,000 Jamaican dollars or $19 US. They can be bought from the office at the stadium, this National Aquatic Center, or you can just DM someone on Instagram, the Instagram page, that's the ACJ Aquatic Swimming Aquatic Sports Jamaica ACJ's page, and you can just DM anyone there or just send a message there, and you'll be given the information as to how else to get it. But it's available at the office at this stadium pool. Okay,
since they're Jamaica, they have it. Go out and support our swimmers. Again, thanks most for stopping by and sharing with us. We wish you all the best. And between Leah and Brandon alone, they'll be coming home with about 26,000 medals. So you can imagine what the other 9 will be coming home with. But with that, we'll take a break and we'll come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Thank you.
morning you wake up, you drop your nose like it a drop off. You walk on it, the sore throat and this dirty, nasty cough. Yes, and you may talk, don't look around, don't drop your nose. Go along, go bathe your skin and hurry up and put on your clothes. The sore throat and this cough, don't worry yourself, you're not have stress. Get Fisherman's Friend, all the cough it will suppress. It have a minty flavor. Go to the pharmacy, spend your money. Stop laugh up with the cashier, not about your sore throat, not funny. Aventa Jamaica distribute this. Them your people you can trust. Not talking on nobody face, get Fisherman's Friend first.
Are you ready for something mega? Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Drop your entry in the box and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Tucson. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion. April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Grace, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst. Choose concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart. Best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates. First-time registration land surveys also included. Affordable rates and flexible payment options. NLA adjudication and land titling waivers also available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Married life is a serious thing. Boy, careful how you put on the wedding ring.
For better or worse, in sickness or health, richer or poorer. But who generally wins in this equation? Or when the maths now add up? So many men avoid marriage, or those within complain of the constant worry that they can lose everything in the end. How reasonable are these thoughts though? Is it fair to use history and judge the likely outcome? If Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates can lose a lot, what about the average Joe? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, is marriage just a legal contract that benefits women and children? What happened to the man them?
Husband and wife, pain and problem in them life. It's in them life, in them life.
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed. The Ministry of Health and Wellness. Healthy people, healthy environment. Dewars. Here's to the story. And Durex. Distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Get ready for a fun-filled day of storytelling and imagination as Cliffviews Online and the E-Zone celebrates Read Across Jamaica Day with a special live outside broadcast from Seawood Primary and Infant School. Join us on Tuesday, May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we bring the joy of reading to life with exciting book readings and engaging conversations. Expect exciting prizes and surprises. So, tune in to Cliffviews Online and the E-Zone on May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's Read Across Jamaica Day at Seawood Primary and Infant School. Catch the live stream on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Chris and Charles, Pressbox Printers, Guardian Group's Shine 5K, Cozy Corner Books and more, eLearning Jamaica, and Kingston Bookshop.
Married life is a serious thing. Boy, careful how you put on the wedding ring.
For better or worse, in sickness or health, richer or poorer. But who generally wins in this equation? Or when the maths now add up? So many men avoid marriage, or those within complain of the constant worry that they can lose everything in the end. How reasonable are these thoughts though? Is it fair to use history and judge the likely outcome? If Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates can lose a lot, what about the average Joe? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, is marriage just a legal contract that benefits women and children? What happened to the man them?
Husband and wife, pain and problem in them life. It's in them life, in them life.
Affairs of the Heart is brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed. The Ministry of Health and Wellness. Healthy people, healthy environment. Dewars. Here's to the story. And Durex. Distributed by Massey Distribution Limited, Jamaica.
Okay, good evening and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I'm Alex Raby, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass, my technical operator slash production assistant. And I'll continue with some swimming. We'll be going over the Trinidad and Tobago, where Trinidad and Tobago swimmer Liam Carrington was one of the standout swimmers at 2025 Character Championships hosted by TNT. He won 8 gold individual medals and 4 relay gold medals and 1 silver medal. He had 5 individual records and 3 relay records. That's Liam Carrington. We'll be talking with Carrington as well as his coach, Darren Sam Lasing. Gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start with you, Coach Darren. With a swimmer like Liam, you're in no need for any other swimmers, right? 8 gold medal individual, 4 relay gold, 1 silver, 5 individual records, 3 relay records. You have no need for another coach. Describe the talent in Liam.
I mean, firstly, Liam, I can't say credit to Liam. Liam is a Trinidad and Tobago swimmer, but he's not under my watch, right?
Okay.
So just to be clear on that. But I have known Liam since a young boy growing up, and I know his former coach who I would have spoken to about Liam because, you would see him on the circuit. So when you hear everything he has done, from a young boy to now, it's outstanding, right? That's no easy feat, what he did over the course of the Carifta Games, right? Not only was he super fast, he was super fit to maintain his speed over his races, right? It always comes back to a team effort, right? One person, one swimmer can't do it on their own, but Trinidad and Tobago is definitely lucky to have him in the wing.
Right, and Liam, let me bring you in here. When you look at your record, the achievement from the Carifta Games, these 8 individual gold, 4 relay goals, and a individual silver medal. Tell me, going into the competition, did you expect to do so well?
No, I did not expect to do that well. Going in, I had high standards for myself. I had goals that I wanted to achieve, but I surprised myself in the amount of medals won and the qualifying for Worlds with the B cut.
Right. And these 8 gold medals, tell me, when you look back at them, what comes to your mind, what runs through your mind as to you achieving 8 gold medals, individual gold medals at Carifta Games? How do you absorb all of that?
I'm really happy with coming out with 8 gold medals. It was hard to do it. All the events back to back, days where I had 3 events, 30 minutes apart. So winning that amount of gold medals, I'm really happy, as I said, with my results, and it shows that the work that I'm putting in is paying off. So yeah.
Any of these record medals are your favorite? Which one, when you look at it, this is the one that you went after most?
I don't have a gold medal that I went after the most. I would just say my favorite one. It was the 400 free. That was on the last day. A lot of technical issues went through that race with my goggles. I couldn't see for most of the race. So I had to clear them while I was swimming. But I pushed through and I was able to come out on top. So I'm happy with the result, even though that I couldn't see and I had to clear my goggles multiple times throughout the race.
And you're still able to get 8 gold medals with 5 records. I wonder if conditions were perfect, what you would have done.
Outstanding, huh?
Right.
I don't know.
But tell me, Liam, it's some would wonder if we weren't watching the event by yourself. Some would wonder that you were swimming by yourself. I mean, not only winning but winning in record-breaking fashion. Tell me what was competition like? Is it that the competition was that easy, or it was that difficult that the competition pushed you and you were able to come away with these gold and these records?
Yeah, the competition was there. I think for me, what pushed me was like my goals, and then like the crowd being home. That was definitely a boost, as it being home. It's an advantage being home with the crowd, and they're all cheering you on. So that definitely helped me do what I did. Well, it helped me perform the way I performed. The competition as well, that helped me as well. Some of the races weren't that close, but I'm really happy with the way Carifta swimming is going right now.
Right. And Darren, let me bring in here, like Liam said, the Carifta Games, it was in Trinidad and Tobago this year. Tell me, did this encourage, or was it added pressure for the team to do well, knowing that you'll be performing in front of your home crowd, or added motivation?
I mean, pressure is something that could make you or break you. And what we definitely saw from the team was most of the swimmers, it made them. I mean, there were the few swimmers who the pressure, you could see the nerves got the better of them. But like, we, especially the younger age groups from the psych sheets, we didn't factor too heavily, right? And when you saw some of the finals we were able to squeeze into, even though we were not seeded top 8, it was definitely the home crowd advantage, right? So you can't put a price on that. It was amazing. You couldn't see it from TV or any audio, but being in the arena, the National Aquatic Center, it was just a real thrilling experience.
Were you surprised by the level of support, the outreach from Trinidad and Tobago, the public, especially with the fact that track and field Carifta was going on at the same time?
I wouldn't say surprised, because the swimming has its following, right? However, I would definitely say I was pleased, right? So I saw quite a few familiar faces, right? But we definitely showed up. I mean, Team Bahamas was large, Team Jamaica was large, and it was just a cultural bowl, right? Like, it wasn't, you didn't look in the stands and solely see red. You saw a real nice mix, and based on who was winning, you saw that country take charge of the celebration, right? So it was no surprise, but it was definitely really heartwarming to see the support swimming still has in the region.
Right, and describe to me your thoughts on the whole planning and execution of Carifta 2025.
I think it was good. I mean, it's the first time in some time we were able to have a full complement, right? Congrats to Team Jamaica. I mean, you all came second, right? We were chasing you all the way through. I mean, even on the last day, it came down to the relays, which was the determining factor, right? To be honest, it's the first time I think our women or female swimmers in some time came in the top 3, right? So even though we came third, we were second in the medal standings. We showed some best times. And the preparation, we took it seriously. We gave our best because the athletes we had on show were the best Trinidad has to offer, right? And we now have to go back to see where the differentiation comes and why it comes, especially in the younger age groups. We did all we could. I mean, it's never the end of the road. We continue building with what we have. And there are other swimmers in the Lou who, based on not making the team this year, will come back stronger next year. So we continue to put the foundation down to get back to being that dominant country in Carifta.
Right. Speaking of being dominant, the Bahamas seems to own Carifta Swimming Championships. Tell me what you think they are doing right, or what the other Caribbean countries are doing wrong. Why they seems to come out on top year in, year out?
I mean, I think it comes down to, I'm not sure exactly how the program runs, But just from a coaching perspective, me seeing them at the Carista Games, their team is very professional. They seem to have a routine that goes through the years. You'd always see them come, similar warm-up, they lined up, they uniform, they're ready. They seem to have decent, I'm not sure if it's sponsorship, but you saw all of the swimmers had the same bags. They're very uniform, so the simple things we take for granted, right? They are a true team. They come together, they leave together, they have great togetherness, right? That's a big plus. They come with multiple, they don't just factor in coaches. So, for example, a lot of other countries just saw just coaches for swimming, right? Bahamas came with a full strength and conditioning team. They had masseuse, they had this, they bought tubs for ice baths for recovery. I mean, that's something you don't often see other countries traveling with, right? So they seem to understand what it takes to win, right? And they continue to dominate. And it's up to us to really up our standards to get them because they're not coming down. And I don't think anyone should want them to come down. We just have to go up and meet them where they are, and it raises the standard of swimming in the Caribbean, right? And credit to Bahamas. They have done well for 7 straight championships, right? And they have excelled.
Right. And Liam, I keep coming back to your performance of Carifta, 5 individual records. Tell me which of these records stand out for you. Looking at it, you would have taken down the record of some exceptional swimmers, Dylan Carter's, Nicholas Bovell, national record. Some exceptional swimmers. You would have records were made to broken. We know that. But tell me, any of these record are special to you in terms of whose record you would have broken? I mean, anybody who breaks one of Usain Bolt's record would be over the moon, just not only because of breaking the record, but because of the fact that it's Usain Bolt's record. When you look at these records that you would have broken, which is special to you?
I would say the 200 free, that record. I didn't expect to break it. Just coming in, I just went out. I set the race from start to finish and just held on. In the end, it worked. It could have either gone really well or really badly, really quickly. So that race, that record, breaking Dylan's Carifta record, I think that one's my favorite. And then the 200, not the 200, the 100 back is a close second.
That's Jack Kirby's record.
Yes.
Right. And tell me, I don't know if I should ask you this, but is there anything that you think that you could have done better at Carifta? I mean, after 8 goal, individual goal, 4 relay goal, and a silver, I don't know if there's anything. But is there anything you think you could have done better at Carifta to even make your resume look even better than it does now?
Definitely. It wasn't a perfect meet. I don't think I'll ever have a perfect meet. You could try to be as close to perfect as possible, but it would never happen. So I just think process in warming up, I could have been a little better. Just the first day wasn't it wasn't what I was looking at. But throughout the meet, I got better at warming up and my process in which I was warming up.
Okay. Darren, let me bring you back in here. When you look at Liam's performance and several of the other Trinidad and Tobago swimmers' performance, as well as the performance of Jamaicans, Bahamas, and other countries, these are exceptional swimmers. However, we're not seeing the transition to the senior level. We're not seeing the Caribbean swimmers dominating the World Championships, the Olympics, stuff like that. We get a breakout swimmer every now and then, Aliyah and Leon Carter, among others. But we're not seeing the consistent breakout as we would see in track and field. What do you think the Caribbean needs to do better in terms of swimming, that we see a consistent parade of athletes in swimming dominating on the world scene at the senior level?
I think swimming could still be a bit expensive for some. So from that, I mean, most places in Jamaica you could find a Savannah. In Trinidad you could find a Savannah. People set up a club. A coach, all you need is a good coach. Many times you have the facilities. With swimming, it's a little difficult where you have to get a lot of equipment, pay membership for pools. It's a lot, the cost of a club swimming is more expensive. I mean, I agree with you, but I will have a different opinion on where we stand because, I mean, we have World Junior, Nikolai Blackman won gold last year before, right? We have Jordan Crooks coming out as Lamar Taylor, I believe, from Bahamas, right? We have Dylan Carter, who has remained a factor. Even Liam Swim, right, is 55-3 in backstroke. In the TYR Pro Series that's going on now, I think he'd have been the 7th fastest seed going in, right? So I think in the development of swimming in the region, right, what they have out there, they have a lot of, like, I would often go to courses, and they have, like, I think it's Athlete.com, there's a camera system they set up, they have real-time feedback, and a lot of the technology we don't have in the Caribbean that they are afforded outside, right? However, like athletics, it's a lot easier because, I mean, it's not as expensive, I would say, the equipment, some of it, as it is for swimming, right? When I priced out some of the equipment to really compete with world standard, it's very expensive, right? You can't afford it as a club in the Caribbean. So I think it comes back to investment in the sport, investment in coaches, and from there I think we could closer, faster bridge the gap.
Right. Okay, gentlemen, let me say thank you for stopping by and sharing some of your thoughts with us. We wish you both and the entire team Trinidad and Tobago all the best.
Thank you so much, man. You all take care.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
It's our pleasure. Darren Samla Singh, the coach of Trinidad and Tobago's swim team, and Liam Carrington, one of Trinidad and Tobago's swimmers. We take a break and we come back with more here on Sports Nation Live.
Calling all golfers. The 3rd annual Stories to Create charity golf tournament is happening on July 19 at the Constant Spring Golf Course, and you don't want to miss it. Come out and compete in 8 exciting challenges, from longest drive to beat the pro. And yes, you'll get your shot at $5 million in the hole-in-one contest. Prizes, surprises, and a powerful cause supporting youth and storytelling programs through EHAS Inc. Register now and swing with purpose. Visit ehasinc.org or email info@ehasinc.org, and we'll see you on the green.
Share in the experience at Fontana Pharmacy. We have a wide variety of items in store just for you. Fill your prescriptions while you shop. And senior citizens enjoy 10% off. Shop household, cosmetics, toys, and many other departments. We also offer curbside pickup and delivery. Visit our website at fontanapharmacy.com. Fontana Pharmacy, where it's all good inside.
Get ready for a heartwarming and inspiring celebration as E-Zone honors the dedicated heroes of education on Teachers' Day with a special live outside broadcast from Lorna Auto Prep School. Join us on Wednesday, May 7th from 1 to 3 p.m. as we recognize and celebrate the teachers who shape minds, build futures, and inspire greatness every single day. So don't miss it. Celebrate Teachers' Day with the E-Zone and Lorna Auto Prep School on May 7th from 1 to 3 p.m. Catch the live stream on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Chris and Charles and JT Cooperative Credit Union.
Get ready for a fun-filled day of storytelling and imagination as Cliff Hughes Online and the E-Zone celebrates Read Across Jamaica Day with a special live outside broadcast from Seawood Primary and Infant School. Join us on Tuesday, May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. as we bring the joy of reading to life with exciting book readings and engaging conversations. Expect exciting prizes and surprises. So, tune in to Clipviews Online and the E-Zone on May 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's Read Across Jamaica Day at Seawood Primary and Infant School. Catch the live stream on Nationwide 90 FM's YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Chris and Charles, Pressbox Printers, Guardian Group's Shine 5K, Cozy Corner Books and more, eLearning Jamaica, and Kingston Bookshop.
Okay, good evening and welcome back to Sports Nation Live. I am Alex Rivers, working with Kevin Williams on the other side of the glass. We'll be talking some hockey now as Jamaica's men's team is in overseas, played a international tournament, and we are joined by captain of the team, Ajani, and coach Devon. Gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thanks for having us.
It's our pleasure. Let's start with you coach. Tell me how did the game today ended? How did you fare?
I think the good guys and played well. Came away with a victory, which is good. So winning our first game of the tournament is good. I think we were dominant throughout the match. Possessed the ball very well, and we shot the goal on several occasions. So I'm pleased with the performance.
And what was the scoreline?
2-1.
2-1. And Johnny, as team captain, tell me what would you have said to your team going out and during the course of the game to ensure that you keep your momentum up?
Well, the first thing I told them that we first must thank God that we made it here first up, because it was a long and treacherous journey for all of us. The next thing I told them is that there's nothing new. We have done all of this in training before. We have listened to our coaches before. We have trusted the system. So all we have to do is just go out there and execute. And they did just that.
Who did they play in the first match?
Guatemala.
And tell me, going into this match, what did you know about this team? Is this the first time facing this team?
No, we played them a couple times before. We actually played the last time we played them was when we were going for the Occupiers World Cup qualification. We played them in the quarterfinals. And what we have seen over the years is that they have been improving incrementally. So even though we've always gotten the better of them, we came into this match not thinking that we were going to just, it was going to be automatic to get the better of them. So we came into the match with the plan to execute according to our game plans, and thankfully we came out with a victory.
Right. And Devon, let me bring you back in. Looking at this game, at any point during the game, did the Guatemalan surprise you? Were you worried that Jamaica may not come out on top?
No, as I said, prior to the game, we were quite dominant. We were possessing the ball well, creating opportunities. We basically led 2-0 up to the last 5 minutes of the game, and that is when they scored just before the game ended. We really controlled the game, and it was a surprise for us.
Like you said, they created opportunities after opportunities. Do you think you should have come out with a greater margin of victory? Hello? He seems to have lost the coach there. We are going to try and reconnect with Ajani, the captain of the Jamaica's hockey team, as well as Coach Devon. But as we try to reconnect with the coach and the captain, let me give you some score. First up, Mount Pleasant, they would have beaten Harborview 3-0 in the KFC Jamaica Elite Under-17 Cup played at the Tony Spalding Complex earlier today. Now, in the Jamaica Women's Premier League, Cavalier, they would have returned to winning ways, beating Real Mobay 9-0. Janelle Graham, she would have scored in the first, 16th and 56th minute. Tamara O'Sullivan, she scored in the 19th and 74th minute. Shade Shirley, she scored in the 38th minute. Chanel Spence, she scored in the 53rd and 65th minute. Janelle Williams, she scored in the 90th minute. And Springer United, they beat Proven Girls 4-2. Keisha Bailey scored in the 3rd minute. Zamelia Hines scored in the 32nd minute. Frederica Finnekin scored in the 59th minute. And Thompson, she scored in the 68th minute. Proven Girls. Brianna Smith scored in the 49th minute. And Tessie and Daces scored in the 90th minute. Fraser's Whip, champions, they beat Arnett Gardens 2-1. Riquana Richards, she scored in the 37th minute, and Davia Richards, she scored in the 90th minute. For Arnett Gardens, Brianna Cosby scored in the 29th minute. And Federal United, they went down 2-1 against UWI Women. Afrika Beckford scored in the 11th minute for Federal United, and Danisha Hall, scored in the 45th, and Imani Linton for UWI Women. Now the game between Mile Gully and Wi-Fi United, that ended 0-0. So we're unable to reconnect with the coach and the player from the Jamaica hockey team. We're going to play some horse racing now, and look in the sports room, there's a horse racing. So earlier today, there were some standout performances. Prolific Prince won the 3rd running of the Harry Jagai Memorial Trophy at Caymanas Park today.
And we're ready for a start. They're off and racing. He's sensational, misses it, and the ejected rider from Uncle Baba, so one is on the ground. So making the running money mission from Prolific Prince, right there too, that's Bob the Builder. Out wide, that is Benison coming on nicely. Alchemy of Soul, the Raider comes next, then comes a Star Quest, just behind Star Quest, that's Informal Gladiator. Then comes a Slam Sharp as they go past the 4. Nebuchadnezzar comes next, Monarch. As they head towards the 3 furlong point, and it is Prolific Prince on that lead. Just on the outside, Bob the Builder threatening already. Also there, that's Money Mission backing out. Coming on the outside, that's Loretta there at the top of the lane, and it is on that lead, Prolific Prince in front. Prolific Prince in front of Bob the Builder, trying to come once again. They're coming to the furlong pole. It is Prolific Prince. Bob the Builder left back against the rail, also trying to come on. That's Benison. It's Prolific Prince still in front and looks to be traveling nicely. And Prolific Prince, with a half a furlong to go, looks to be all over. You have this one on your bet. Head to the windows and go get your cash. Prolific Prince beats Bob the Builder. Benison comes next. Alchemy of Soul got tight for 5th rather. Could be Star Quest or He's Sensational.
Now, Incredible Joe won the Feature American Woman of Jamaica Trophy.
Start already? They're off. Almost perfect start. Incredible Joe gets a great one and dashes quickly into that lead. Rico chasing. Toward the outside, American Aviator. Supernatural Power now finds her legs and begins to edge closer as they leave the 5. Firecracker Racing second from the back. And last of them all, that's Riches to Rags.
Incredible Joe attempting to steal it early. Leaves the half mile with a commanding 4.5 length lead. Supernatural Power now wound up and gets going. Rico back into second, rather third. American Aviator is running in fourth as they string out. Firecracker second from the back, and Riches to Rags remains at the back of the field. But Incredible Joe is setting quick splits and has opened up a huge lead. Supernatural Power now going in chase. Incredible Joe trying to steal it at the top of the lane. Looks to have an 8 or more length lead. Supernatural Power now lugging down against the rail, but Incredible Joe is running incredibly well. They race to the furlong pole. It is Incredible Joe out in front. Supernatural Power not able to make any gains. They flash inside now the final 16th, and it is Incredible Joe and Dick Cardenas. This is the American Women's Group of Jamaica Trophy, and Incredible Joe with an incredible performance wins by 9 or more. Supernatural Power second, Rico third, Riches to Rags is fourth.
Okay, and Champion Bubbler won the Reggae Trophy.
They're off. Bootylicious, Mamma Mia, they come out rubbing shoulders. Is that a fact? Is left behind horses. Toward the center, drifting across Pack Places in the red. Way over on the far side, that's a Digital One with a lot of catching up to do. Champion Bubbler in the blue races near the stands. They're sorting themselves out. They've covered just about the first 2 furlongs. Bootylicious and Mamma Mia fighting for that lead. In the center, in the red, that's Pack Plays. Champion Bubbler now joins them, and these 4 are fanning out across the track as they head inside the final quarter. Pack Plays on the far side. Bootylicious in the center. Champion Bubbler in the blue nearest to us, and Champion Bubbler now attacks Pack Plays, and these 2 match strides as they drive toward the furlong pole. Pack Plays possibly just... But Champion Bubbler now coming with an attack on the outside, and Champion Bubbler points the nose in front of a Pack Plays on the far side. Is that a fact? Asked to close up. It's a Champion Bubbler winning the Reggae Trophy from Pack Plays. Is that a fact? Is third. Bootylicious is fourth.
Okay, so there you have it. Champion Bubbler winning the Reggae Trophy at Cabanas Park earlier today. And we let me give you the result in the at the end of the Diamond League in Shanghai, China earlier today. So as I go down, where 5 Jamaican athletes produced podium finish, but tell me when you would have find it. There's a clip also. Okay, just to give you the result of the Diamond League earlier today, before we give you some basketball information. 5 Jamaican athletes produced podium finishes on the second stop of the Wonder Diamond League circuit in Shanghai, China on Saturday. MVP's Kishane Thompson opened his season with a season best 9.99 seconds for second in the men's 100 meters final. Thompson says today's performance was an external part of his season preparation.
Kishane Thompson, second place, under 10 seconds. Tell us about that race.
Honestly, I'd say it's a decent race. I'm working off some cobwebs. Today it wasn't really about a fast time. It was more of getting a better execution, putting it all together. You know, it's my season opener. We have a lot of stuff to work on. We're just gonna move forward from here.
As you mentioned, you had to blow a bit of rust off, but to see a 9.9, does that make you happy?
Honestly, it's not a bad feeling or a happy feeling. I'm just working with what's here at the present.
How's the health been? Has training been consistent recently?
Yeah, training has been consistent. The health has been good.
Where will we see you race next?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but when you guys see me, for sure you'll see me.
Thank you very much.
Okay, there you have it, Kishane Thompson. No world champion Danielle Williams posted 12.55 seconds to finish second in the women's 100 meters hurdles. America's Grace Stark won in a world lead and a meet record 12.42 seconds. Rashid Broadbell ran a season's best 13.24 seconds to finish second in the 110 meters hurdles. Hansa Passman finished sixth and Orlando Bennett eighth. Jordan Scott was second in the men's triple jump with 17 meters, and Wayne Pinnock picked up third in the men's long jump with a leap of 8.10 meters, while Tajay Gale finished fifth. Cordell Tinch of the USA won in a meet record and world lead 12.80 meters. 87 meters, I should say. And just to give you some basketball scores as unbeaten Manchester High School they're into the final of the Rural Era Girls Finals, where they'll face Mount Alvernia of St. James, this after defeating Old Arbor in their semi-final matchup today at the Manchester High School court. Mount Alvernia had defeated Herbert Morrison in their semi-final earlier in the week. Manchester High, they got by Old Arbor 33-20, scoring from Manchester. Carcia Breezer with 13 points. Leanne Goldburn with 15 points for Old Arbor. The top scorer was Javel Street with 10 points. The date and venue for the rural final is to be announced. Now the urban zone updates. In the urban zone, the following teams are qualified for the semifinals. Camperdown, they are the number one seeded team. Queens, they are second, and Holy Child third. The fourth semifinalists will be determined on Monday, following a crucial preliminary round game between Merle Grove and Immaculate at Merle Grove, starting at 3 p.m. Merle Grove victory will advance them into the semifinals, but a win for Immaculate will see St. Andrew High School advancing. The last qualifying team will meet number one ranked Camperdown in the semifinal. Urban semifinal matchup: Queens against Holy Childhood and Camperdown versus Merle Grove or St. Andrew. The date and venue for the urban semifinal is also to be announced. Let me give you a quick rundown of the results in the English Premier League. Aston Villa, they clipped Fulham 1-0. Everton, they drew 2-2 with Ipswich Town. Leicester City, they beat Southampton 2-0, a little too late. Arsenal, they went down 2-1 against Bournemouth. And in tomorrow's fixtures, see what's up for tomorrow. I'm getting a bit, okay. Not yesterday, but tomorrow is what we want to see. Trying to get the fixtures for tomorrow. Okay, we're having some bit of difficulty getting those fixtures, but while we are here, let me just repeat the scores in the Jamaica Women's Premier League. We have Cavalier beating Real Bay 9 goals to nil. Springer United, they beat Proven Girls 4-2. Fraser's Whip, they maintain their 100% win record, beating Onyx Gardens 2-1. Federal United, they went down 2-1 against UWI Women, and the match between Mile Gully and Wi-Fi United ended 0-0. So that's the score as it relates to the Jamaica Women's Premier League played earlier today. And I'm trying to see if there is any other result that I can share with you before I close out the show. I'm not seeing anything here right now. But let me say that's all the time we have for you today. Let me say a special thanks to Alan Beckford, Leah Forrester, Brandon Wong, Mike Rhodes, Darren Samla Singh, and Liam Carrington. Special thanks to my producer / production assistant, Kevin Williams. I'm Alex Raby saying God bless, good night. And as usual, we hope that you will be in church on Sunday. And if you don't have a local church to worship, you're welcome to worship with us at Tower Hill Missionary Church, 159 Olympic Way. God bless. Good night.